The divine sword is invincible. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 526. It's you who will die today. The Heavenly Destiny Stone is the most important treasure for the Great Emperor realm, to consolidate the Sea of Gods and the world. Therefore, when Yang Xiaoshan flew to the Heavenly Destiny Mountain in the southern mountains, many powerful families also flew to the Heavenly Destiny Mountain. However, there are also restrictions near the Heavenly Destiny Mountain. Only the powerful emperors can enter. Therefore, almost all those who fly to the Heavenly Destiny Mountain are emperors. Yang Xiaoshan is very fast. It didn't take long for him to see the Heavenly Destiny Mountain standing among the mountains. The Heavenly Destiny Mountain is very tall, larger than the surrounding peaks, and it feels like a crane standing out among chickens. Moreover, the Heavenly Destiny Mountain reflects a different light circle, so it can be seen from a distance. When Yang Xiaoshan landed in the mountains in front of the Heavenly Destiny Mountain, he saw hundreds of people standing in front of the Heavenly Destiny Mountain. These people came from major sects and major families. Yang Xiaoshan even saw Qian Yuan, the young emperor of the Tangshan divine sect. Qian Yuan was standing with 4 young men and women, talking freely, obviously talking about how to climb the Heavenly Destiny Mountain later. To obtain the Destiny Stone, one must climb the Destiny Mountain, but it is not so easy to climb the Destiny Mountain. The higher the Destiny Mountain is, the more Destiny Stones it produces. However, the higher it is, the stronger the restriction is, and the harder it is to climb. The Destiny Mountain is 10,000 feet high. Generally, the peak of the 10th level of the Emperor realm can only climb to a height of 1,000 feet. Some powerful peaks of the 10th level of the Emperor realm may be able to break through 2,000 feet, but those who can climb to 3,000 feet are extremely rare. As for 4,000 feet, it is even rarer. The Destiny Temple is opened once every 10 years. In the past million years, the number of people who can climb to 5,000 feet can be counted on one hand. As for 6,000 feet, no one can reach it. In the past million years, no one has ever been able to climb to 6,000 feet. Not to mention 7,000 feet, 8,000 feet, or even the top of the mountain. According to ancient books about the Destiny Temple, there may be a Hunyuan Destiny Stone on the top of the Destiny Mountain. However, no one has ever seen what the Hunyuan Destiny Stone looks like, and no one has ever climbed to the top, so no one knows whether the record is true. Yang Xiaoshan stared at the Destiny Mountain and looked at the top of the Destiny Mountain. This time, he came not only for the Destiny Stone, but also for the Hunyuan Destiny Stone. If he could use the Hunyuan Destiny Stone to temper the Sea of God, then his Sea of God would definitely be very solid, and it might even transform into an unprecedented Hunyuan Sea of God. Uncle Ding said that, if his Sea of God could transform into the Hunyuan Sea of God, he would have the hope of carrying the 15th Hunyuan Destiny. Otherwise, he could only carry 14 Hunyuan Destinies at most. If he forcibly carried the 15th Hunyuan Destiny, his Sea of God would probably burst. So this time, he must get enough Hunyuan Destiny Stones. However, Yang Xiaoshan was not in a hurry to climb the mountain. At this time, the forbidden aura covering the Destiny Mountain was extremely strong. If he was in a hurry to climb the mountain now, the force of the forbidden attack would be the strongest. Therefore, many disciples who came were waiting for the forbidden light circle to weaken. The dragon elephant young emperor is here. Suddenly, a disciple in the crowd exclaimed. Yang Xiaoshan and the others looked over. In the distance, 6 young men and women came in the air. The young man in the lead was very tall. He was the dragon elephant young emperor, the leader of the 9 young emperors. The dragon elephant young emperor Long Xiangdan was a genius of the Shenlong clan in Wanjian continent. Long Xiangdan possessed the extremely rare black dragon bloodline of the Shenlong clan, which only appeared in ancient times. However, Long Xiangdan not only possessed the black dragon bloodline, but also the most noble celestial bloodline of the Shengxiang clan. Because of this, Long Xiangdan was the first genius of the Shenlong clan's young generation, and also the first genius of the young generation of Kangzhou. Beside Long Xiangdan was a beautiful woman in a phoenix robe. The woman's aristocratic aura was fully revealed when she raised her hands and feet. It's Ling Shenfengnu. A disciple recognized the beautiful woman beside Long Xiangdong and said excitedly. Yang Xiaoshan was surprised. Ling Shenfengnu is the daughter of the chief of the Phoenix clan of one giant continent and one of the 9 phoenixes of Kangzhou. The 9 phoenixes are as famous as the 9 young emperors. And Ling Shenfengnu is the leader of the 9 phoenixes. Kan Yuan saw Long Xiangdong and Ling Shenfengnu coming and went forward to greet them with everyone. I didn't expect that brother Long and Fengnu are here too. Kan Yuan smiled at Long Xiangdong and Ling Shenfengnu. It seems that they are very familiar with each other. Long Xiangdong smiled at Kan Yuan. It's rare that the Temple of Destiny is opened, so I naturally want to come and see it. I met Fengnu on the way, so we came together. Kan Yuan was about to speak, but suddenly he glanced and saw a figure in the distance. He was startled, and then his eyes were full of murderous intent and coldness. It's you. He stared at Yang Xiaoshan and gritted his teeth. Long Xiangdong, Ling Shenfengnu and others saw Kan Yuan's appearance, and their eyes all fell on Yang Xiaoshan. When Long Xiangdong saw that Yang Xiaoshan was just a teenager, he couldn't help but wonder why Kan Yuan hated a teenager so much. Brother Kan Yuan, who is he? Long Xiangdong asked. The descendant of Huangquan Patriarch. Kan Yuan stared at Yang Xiaoshan and said coldly. What? He is the descendant of Huangquan Patriarch. The descendant of Huangquan Patriarch who defeated Emperor Kan Shao with one move. As soon as Kan Yuan said this, all the masters on the scene were shocked and in an uproar. Even Long Xiangdong and Ling Shenfengnu looked at Yang Xiaoshan in surprise. The battle between Yang Xiaoshan and Kan Yuan had spread, and many people knew about it. When Long Xiangdong learned that there was a young man who defeated Kan Yuan with one move, and that the young man was only 16 or 17 years old, he was quite surprised. Although Kan Yuan ranked last among the 9 young emperors, it was also very remarkable to be able to defeat Kan Yuan with one move. One of the reasons why he came out this time was to see how powerful this young man was. Kan Yuan's face flushed as he listened to the discussions of the people around him. At the beginning, he was defeated by Yang Xiaoshan with one move, which was simply a shame for his life. He was the dignified 9th young emperor, but he was defeated by a much younger boy in one move. Now everyone in the streets was talking about his joke. Boy, I didn't expect you to come too. Kan Yuan's face flushed red, and he stared at Yang Xiaoshan with murderous intent, then walked towards Yang Xiaoshan. Last time, I was careless, and didn't activate the power of my divine body at all, so I lost to you. This time, I must defeat you. When he said this, his whole body was full of momentum. Rays of divine light burst out from his body. In the distance, there was a shadow of a giant lion. The giant lion roared, shaking the world. This was Kan Yuan's divine body, the heavenly lion divine body. The heavenly lion divine body was one of the strongest divine bodies of the 5 ancient lion kings. As Kan Yuan's heavenly lion divine body was activated, a powerful force swept from him. Kan Yuan had a sword in his hand. This sword was not the last one. It was fiery red. Under the activation of his true energy, the sword body was astonishingly blazing. Looking at the furious Kan Yuan, Yang Xiaoshan had a calm expression and said indifferently, last time, I spared your life, because you were a disciple of Tangshan divine sect. This time, if you dare to attack again, you will die. Kan Yuan paused, then laughed ferociously, how shameless. It's you who will die today. At this point, his 7 destinies flew out, and after the 7 destinies, the 8th destinies flew out. Chapter 527. Are you crazy? Yang Xiaoshan was surprised to see Kan Yuan's 8th 7th-fold destiny. No wonder he dared to say that he was the one who died today. It turned out that he had cultivated the 8th 7th-fold destiny. With each additional destiny, the combat power will increase dramatically. I didn't expect that Emperor Kan cultivated the 8th destiny, and it is also a 7th-fold destiny. 8 7th-fold destiny. With the addition of the heavenly lion divine body, such combat power, such talent, he is worthy of being the 9th young emperor. Don't forget that Emperor Kan's master is Lord Zhaorong. Emperor Kan may have cultivated the golden bull divine art. Everyone at the scene was talking about it. When hearing people mention the golden bull divine art, Long Xiangdong's eyes also condensed. The Golden Bull Divine Art is one of the 10 great skills of the Tangshan Divine Religion. It is also one of the strongest attack and defense skills in the Wanjian continent. As if confirming everyone's thoughts, suddenly, a layer of golden color appeared on Emperor Khan's skin. And 2 golden horns actually grew on Emperor Khan's forehead. A strong and violent force emerged from Emperor Khan's body. It is indeed the Golden Bull Divine Art. Everyone was greatly surprised when they saw this. To cultivate the Golden Bull Divine Art, one must have the blood of the beast race, and it must be extremely strong. Therefore, although there are many geniuses and countless strong people in the Tangshan Divine Sect, very few can cultivate the Golden Bull Divine Art. The fact that Emperor Khan can successfully cultivate it shows that his blood is also extremely strong. 8 sevenfold destiny, the Heavenly Lion Divine Body, the Golden Bull Divine Art, and the extremely strong beast race blood. With such fighting power, Emperor Khan is definitely not just at the bottom among the 9 young emperors. Everyone was shocked. The 9 young emperors have different strengths. Originally, Emperor Khan ranked last. But with the fighting power displayed by Emperor Khan now, he is definitely not just at the bottom. He should be able to squeeze into the 7th or even 6th. Khan Yuan successfully cultivated the Golden Bull Divine Art. Ling Shai and Feng Nu couldn't help but exclaimed. Long Xiangdan nodded. Emperor Khan successfully cultivated the Golden Bull Divine Art. The battle that will follow will definitely be exciting. Just as everyone was amazed, suddenly, Khan Yuan jumped up, and the fire sword in his hand instantly hit Yangzai Ocean. Meteor chasing the moon. With his sword, countless sword ki were like millions of meteors that cut through the sky. Under the power of his 8 destinies, the Heavenly Lion Divine Body, and the Golden Bull Divine Art, the sword ki whistled and stirred the airflow in the space. The airflow shot violently. Sand and rocks flew on the ground. The sky was dark. Meteor sword technique. Many disciples at the scene recognized at a glance that Khan Yuan was performing the extremely powerful meteor sword technique of the Tangshan Divine Religion. Everyone looked at Yangzai Ocean, wanting to see how Yangzai Ocean would take on Khan Yuan's move. Seeing the sword ki like millions of meteors coming, Yangzai Ocean's face was calm, and there was an extra sword in his hand. He did not retreat but advanced, and the sword in his hand swung up. When Yangzai Ocean swung the sword in his hand, only a sword light flashed and disappeared. Although it was only a sword light, the sword light was so strong that it covered Khan Yuan's millions of meteor sword ki. The sword light tore through the sword energy of millions of meteors with an unstoppable force. As the sword light broke through the sword energy of millions of meteors, Yangzai Ocean's figure also flew towards Khan Yuan at an astonishing speed. Seeing Yangzai Ocean's sword, Long Xiangdan was surprised. Because Yangzai Ocean's sword actually contained the changes of more than a dozen sword techniques such as Fengyuan sword technique, Gizan sword technique, and Wuhan sword technique. Moreover, these more than a dozen sword techniques are all sword techniques of Tangshan Divine Religion. How could this descendant of Huangquan Patriarch know the sword techniques of Tangshan Divine Religion? The key is that he has also comprehended all the changes of these sword techniques of Tangshan Divine Religion. Yangzai Ocean's sword is too fast. Many people can only see a residual image in sword light, and Yangzai Ocean has already arrived in front of Khan Yuan. Then, Yangzai Ocean's sword in his hand did not change, and with a pick, Khan Yuan's so-called amazing defense of the Golden Bull Divine Art's body protection golden light was like paper, broken. Khan Yuan's Shi and Qi Divine Body Divine Light burst like a bubble. Yangzai Ocean's sword was against Khan Yuan's throat. When Khan Yuan came to his senses, he found that Yangzai Ocean's sword was already against his throat. Everyone was shocked. He was defeated by one sword. Defeated. Many people still found it hard to believe that Khan Yuan, who had 8 7th level destinies and cultivated into the Golden Bull Divine Body, was defeated just like that. Originally, many people expected that this battle would be very exciting, and Khan Yuan might even defeat this descendant of Huangquan Patriarch. But he still lost. Just like 2 months ago, he was still defeated by one move. Long Xiangdang and Ling Fengnu were also stunned. No matter how hard they tried, they could not have imagined that the Golden Bull Divine Art, which is known as one of the strongest defensive divine arts, would be broken by the descendant of Huangquan Patriarch with one sword. This is the Golden Bull divine art. How did the other party do it? How do you know the swordsmanship of our Tangshan divine sect? Kyan Yuan looked grim, staring at Yang Xiaoshan. He also saw that Yang Xiaoshan's sword just now contained more than a dozen swordsmanship variations of their Tangshan divine sect. I said, if you dare to attack again, you will die. Yang Xiaoshan's eyes were cold. Just when Yang Xiaoshan was about to pierce Kyan Yuan's throat with a sword, Long Xiangdang suddenly said, let's spare him when we can. Since you have already won, let's stop here, and let Kyan Yuan go. Yang Xiaoshan heard Long Xiangdang's words, but he thrust the sword in his hand forward and directly inserted it into Kyan Yuan's throat. Kyan Yuan wanted to kill him just now. Now Long Xiangdang wanted him to stop here with just a casual sentence? It's ridiculous. Kyan Yuan stared at the sword in Yang Xiaoshan's hand with his eyes wide open, and couldn't believe that Yang Xiaoshan would really kill him. Who is he? He is the direct disciple of Liang Gang, the ancestor of Tangshan divine sect. He is also the disciple of Zhao Rong, the leader of Tangshan divine sect. This descendant of Huangquan patriarch actually dared to kill him in public. Crazy, crazy. Everyone was stunned. Tangshan divine sect is the first sect in Wanjian continent. The killing of ordinary core disciples is a big deal, not to mention core disciples like Kyan Yuan. Yang Xiaoshan's face was indifferent, and he exerted force with his hand, and the sword in his hand completely pierced through the opponent's throat. You are looking for death. Seeing that Yang Xiaoshan actually ignored him, and really killed Kyan Yuan, Long Xiangdang was furious. He flashed and came behind Yang Xiaoshan, and suddenly punched Yang Xiaoshan to kill him. At this moment, Long Xiangdang's Black Dragon bloodline and Celestial Elephant bloodline were activated at the same time. Suddenly, the sound of dragon roars and the roar of giant elephants resounded through the world. Balong Shengxiang Fist. Balong Shengxiang Fist is a fist technique that Long Xiangdang combined Balong Fist and Shengxiang Fist into one. The fusion of the two divine fists is extremely strong and fierce. With one punch, Long Xiangdang once blew up a divine beast of the first level of the Holy Realm. Below the Holy Realm, they are ants. Generally speaking, a strong person of the first level of the Holy Realm can crush the peak of the 10th level of the Emperor Realm with just one finger. However, Long Xiangdang can blow up a divine beast of the first level of the Holy Realm with one punch. You can imagine how terrifying the power of his punches. Just when Long Xiangdang's fist was about to hit Yang Xiaoshan's back, Yang Xiaoshan suddenly turned around. Chapter 528 Climbing the Destiny Mountain. When Yang Xiaoshan suddenly turned around and looked at Long Xiangdang shuddered in his heart. Seeing the opponent's powerful punch, Yang Xiaoshan also punched out, and a vast dragon power rose from his body, and endless dragons of true essence flew out from his fist. Suddenly, millions of true dragons turned into a sea of dragons. The terrifying power made Long Xiangdang's face change horrified. He wanted to retreat, but it was too late. Boom. Yang Xiaoshan instantly broke the opponent's fist. The two fists slammed into each other. Long Xiangdang, who was said to have the blood of the divine dragon and the blood of the divine elephant clan, shot out like a rock hit by a sacred mountain. He hit the distant mountain peak hard. The mountain peak exploded directly. When Long Xiangdang fell to the distant mountain, his entire arm was completely torn apart, bloody and fleshy, and even the bones were exposed, as if it had been destroyed by the terrifying power. And Long Xiangdang himself was vomiting blood, with disheveled hair, and looking like a beggar. Seeing Long Xiangdang's miserable state, everyone was horrified. The men and women who came with Long Xiangdang were even more frightened to death. Even Ling Shai and Feng Yu's pretty face was pale. It seemed that Yang Xiaoshan's punch just now also hit her heart. How strong is Long Xiangdang, who has the blood of Molong and Xiangxiang? How could she not know? But Long Xiangdang, who has practiced hundreds of martial arts, and is known as the first son of martial arts in Kangshao, was knocked down like a dead dog. For a while, there was a dead silence around Xianming Mountain. Everyone was frightened by the horrible scene at the scene. Long Xiangdang is a legend in Kangshao. He is the recognized first genius in Kangshao and the recognized first master of the young generation in Kangshao. He even took the punch of a second level strongman in the Holy Realm. But now, he can't take a punch from a teenager. Isn't this teenager's punch more terrifying than the second level strongman in the Holy Realm? Many disciples felt weak in their legs when they thought of this. A million years ago, Huang Quan Patriarch swept across the one giant continent and was invincible. No one was his opponent, and he killed everyone in the one giant continent. However, the descendant of Huang Quan Patriarch is even more terrifying than the Huang Quan Patriarch back then. At this time, Qian Yuan, the young Emperor Qian, who was pierced by Yang Xiaoshen's sword, fell straight to the ground from his standing position. A muffled sound. Everyone at the scene was startled again. In the distance, there was a sound of breaking through the air, and a group of Emperor-level masters were seen flying from a distance to the Xianming Divine Mountain. Obviously, they also came for the Xianming Divine Stone. After they arrived, they saw that everyone was standing there stiffly, motionless, and silent, and they couldn't help but feel strange. A master greeted someone at the scene and joked, "Brother Yan, what are you doing standing there? Are you looking at beautiful women in heat?" However, when he stepped forward and took a look, he found that this brother Yan was not in heat, but trembling. He looked in surprise and his eyes fell on Yang Xiaoshen. When he saw the body behind Yang Xiaoshen, his face changed drastically. Emperor Qian. Those who came with him also saw Qian Yuan's body and their faces changed drastically. Is that the Dragon Elephant Emperor? One of them looked at Long Xiangdang, who was lying in the distance like a beggar, and said with a chuckle. The visitors were all shocked and looked at the man who looked like a beggar. It was really the Dragon Elephant Emperor Long Xiangdang. Who was it? Who tortured the Dragon Elephant Emperor into this state? Yang Xiaoshen ignored the visitor and looked at Long Xiangdang coldly. Since you also want to die, then I will fulfill your wish. Having said this, he was about to walk towards Long Xiangdang. Long Xiangdang got up in a panic and retreated in fear. No wonder Long Xiangdang was so scared. He was the only one at the scene who could accurately feel how terrifying Yang Xiaoshen's punch was. Just as Yang Xiaoshen walked towards Long Xiangdang, suddenly, the extremely strong forbidden aura of the Xianming Divine Mountain flashed and began to dim. Everyone was startled and then overjoyed. Many disciples rushed up to the Xianming Divine Mountain. Seeing this, Yang Xiaoshen didn't care to kill Long Xiangdang anymore. At this time, the forbidden aura of Xianming Divine Mountain was dim, which was when its forbidden power was the weakest. It was the best time to climb the mountain, and the forbidden power would soon recover. Yang Xiaoshen and other disciples also rushed to Xianming Divine Mountain. Almost in one breath, Yang Xiaoshen broke through the forbidden aura of Xianming Divine Mountain and entered Xianming Divine Mountain. Then, Yang Xiaoshen flew directly to the top of the mountain. 100 feet, 200 feet, 300 feet, 1000 feet. The higher you go, the stronger the power of the forbidden envelope. When many disciples of the 10th level of the Emperor realm reached 1000 feet, they felt that the ancient divine mountain was pressing on them, and they could no longer go up, so they had to stop. Therefore, only a few disciples still rushed up. After reaching 1000 feet, after reaching 2000 feet, only a few people were left. When it reached 3000 feet, only Ling Shenfengnu was left. In the end, Ling Shenfengnu could only stop at more than 3000 feet. When everyone stopped, Yang Xiaoshen continued to rush up. Soon, he broke through 4000 feet. Yang Xiaoshen's speed was still not slowing down. Is he going to break through 5000 feet? A Phoenix Clan master said in surprise. In the past million years, there have been only 7 people who can reach 5000 feet. One is Hangfeng Divine Lord, one is Huangquan Patriarch, one is Zhao Rong, and one is Zhen Xiandi. Lingshan Phoenix Girl also watched Yang Xiaoshen rushing towards 5000 feet without blinking. She also wanted to know if Yang Xiaoshen could rush to 5000 feet. 4008. 4009. Everyone was extremely nervous. When Yang Xiaoshen broke through 5000 feet, everyone was shocked. 5000 feet. From now on, there will be one more person at 5000 feet. His speed has not slowed down. Suddenly, someone exclaimed. Everyone was shocked. Sure enough, after Yang Xiaoshen broke through 5000 feet, he still rushed to 6000 feet at the same speed. 5700. When Yang Xiaoshen rushed to 5700 feet, everyone was shocked again. Because the Lord of Hangfeng only reached 5700 feet back then. And it was the highest in history. Now this descendant of Huangquan Patriarch has reached the height of the Lord of Hangfeng back then. In the shock of everyone, Yang Xiaoshan rushed through 5,700 feet without any pressure, and then approached 6,000 feet. 6,000 feet. When Yang Xiaoshan rushed to 6,000 feet, everyone was shocked. 6,000 feet. He actually climbed to 6,000 feet. Climbing to 6,000 feet, the first person in history. Because no one had ever been able to climb to 6,000 feet before. Ling Shenfengnu was also shocked. This descendant of Huangquan Patriarch actually surpassed Lord Zhaorong, and even surpassed Emperor Zhenshan, Huangquan Patriarch and Lord of Hangfeng. He is still rushing up. After Yang Xiaoshan broke through 6,000 feet, everyone saw that Yang Xiaoshan's speed continued to rush to 7,000 feet without slowing down. 7,000 feet. When Yang Xiaoshan broke through 7,000 feet, everyone was stunned. But Yang Xiaoshan was still rushing up. Is this going to break through 8,000 feet? Someone trembled. Chapter 529. Reaching the summit. 6,000 is the only number. 7,000 already shocked everyone. Then what about 8,000? Everyone was trembling in their hearts. What would happen if it reached 8,000? It can't be 8,000. A disciple of the Zhenhe Empire's imperial family trembled. Even Huangquan Patriarch and Hangfeng Divine Lord could only reach 6,000. He couldn't believe that someone could reach 8,000. He didn't believe that someone's talent could be so evil. Everyone held their breath and the entire Xianming Divine Mountain was silent. Ling Shenfengnu clenched her fists nervously, even more nervous than when she broke into the Voodoo Land. Under everyone's gaze, Yang Xiaoshan's whole body even burst into golden flames. From a distance, the whole person looked like a golden flame god. Although they were far apart, everyone could still hear the sound of the strong airwaves that broke when Yang Xiaoshan rushed forward. At this time, Long Xiangdan was also stunned when he looked at Yang Xiaoshan who was rushing to 8,000 feet. Before coming, he had thought about rushing to 4,000 feet with all his strength. The ancestor of their Shenlan clan rushed to 4,000 feet back then. 4,000 feet was his biggest extravagant hope for himself. But now, this descendant of Huangquan Patriarch is attacking 8,000 feet. 8,000 feet. Thinking of this number, Long Xiangdan suffocated. 8,000 feet. When Yang Xiaoshan broke through 8,000 feet like a broken bamboo, Long Xiangdan suddenly fainted. Many people at the scene were unstable. Just when Yang Xiaoshan broke through to 8,000 feet, the entire Xianming Divine Mountain suddenly shone brightly. It was not the forbidden light circle that shone brightly, but the body of Xianming Divine Mountain was shining brightly, and the whole body was shining. For millions of years, Xianming Divine Mountain has been in a dormant state. When Yang Xiaoshan climbed to 8,000 feet, Xianming Divine Mountain finally began to wake up. Yang Xiaoshan and everyone else also discovered the abnormality of Xianming Divine Mountain. However, at this time, he had no time to pay attention to the abnormal light of Xianming Divine Mountain, and was still rushing to the top of the 10,000 feet mountain with all his strength. He could feel that the forbidden light circle of Xianming Divine Mountain was gradually recovering. The higher it is, the stronger the forbidden power is, and the greater the upward pressure is. As the forbidden aura gradually recovers, the forbidden power will become stronger. When Yang Xiaoshan broke through to 9,000 feet, he also felt unprecedented pressure. At this moment, he was full of golden flames and divine light. 9,800 feet. 9,900 feet. Looking at the top of the mountain that was about to be in front of him, Yang Xiaoshan tried his best and rushed up madly. I top it. 10,000 feet. Yang Xiaoshan rushed to the top of the mountain and fell hard on the top of the mountain. At this moment, the Destiny Mountain burst out with layers of terrifying light. Everyone around the Destiny Mountain was illuminated. A force of destiny surged from the Destiny Mountain. The earth was shaking. The Temple of Destiny was shaking. Countless sects and family masters in other corners of the Temple of Destiny were all surprised. What's going on? The Sun and Moon Saint King was also surprised. It was not the first time he entered the Temple of Destiny, but it was the first time he saw such a change in the Temple of Destiny. The Star River Sword God and the Hanging Sword God and others were also surprised. However, this shock did not last long. After a while, the Temple of Destiny recovered. Although the Sun and Moon Saint King was puzzled, he did not think much about it. He said to the Galaxy Sword God and the Hanging Sword God, "The leader has ordered that we must find the Destiny Tree this time. You go to the Destiny Forest to find it, and I will go to the Year's Galaxy to find it." The Galaxy Sword God and the Hanging Sword God nodded and left with a group of Tangshan Divine Religion Masters. At this time, Yang Xiaoshan, who had fallen to the top of the mountain, slowed down and stood up. He had the illusion of standing on the top of the world. He looked forward and saw dozens of Destiny Divine Stones scattered on the ground in front of him. Moreover, these Destiny Divine Stones exuded the breath and power of Hunayan. Hunayan Destiny Divine Stone. Seeing that there were indeed Hunayan Destiny Divine Stones on the top of the Destiny Divine Mountain, and there were dozens of them, Yang Xiaoshan was overjoyed. Originally, he thought that it would be good to have more than 10 or 20 Hunayan Destiny Divine Stones on the top of the mountain. Now, there are 40 or 50. Yang Xiaoshan did not hesitate and went forward to collect the first Hunayan Destiny Divine Stone. However, just as he collected the first Hunayan Destiny Divine Stone, suddenly, a force of destiny came down from the void, pressing Yang Xiaoshan's whole body down. Yang Xiaoshan felt the power of destiny on his body and hurried forward to collect the second one. When collecting Destiny Divine Stones in the Destiny Divine Mountain, the power of destiny pressing on him would become heavier with each collection, and the power would become stronger as time went by. Therefore, he had to collect more and more Hunayan Destiny Divine Stones before he could no longer bear the pressure. The third one, the fourth one, the fifth one. Yang Xiaoshan was quick-witted and quick-handed. At this time, the power of destiny on his body had reached an astonishing level, like a Destiny Divine Mountain directly pressing on him. Yang Xiaoshan found that here, he could not circulate his true essence at all, could not display any magical powers at all, and could not even summon his destiny. He could only use his physical body to resist the pressure. Fortunately, his eternal divine body was strong and abnormal enough. If it were any other divine body, it would have been crushed into slag long ago. Yang Xiaoshan collected the 6th, 7th, and 8th pills at the fastest speed. At this moment, the power of destiny pressed down on him, and his spine had become arched. Yang Xiaoshan tried his best, but he couldn't stand up straight. The 9th, the 10th. Yang Xiaoshan had difficulty breathing. This feeling was like being immortal on the bottom of the sea 1,000 meters deep. The 11th. When Yang Xiaoshan collected the 11th pill, his whole body was trembling. The 12th. Just when he collected the 12th pill, his whole body was pressed so hard that he almost fell there. Yang Xiaoshan knew that this was his limit. If he collected more, he would definitely be pressed to lie there directly, and he would not be able to leave, even if he wanted to. In that case, he would be suppressed here forever, and would never be able to leave. There was once a peerless strong man who was greedy, and was suppressed by the power of destiny in the Destiny Mountain, and finally died of old age. Yang Xiaoshan tried his best to move out of the Destiny Mountain against the power of destiny in the sky. When he moved out of the Destiny Mountain, Yang Xiaoshan felt relieved, as if he had gone from hell to heaven in an instant. The feeling of relief was so refreshing. Finally, he got out. Yang Xiaoshan was grateful and deeply regretful. Although he tried his best, he only got 12 Hunayan Destiny Stones in the end. As for the remaining 30 or so, he could only wait until the next opening of the Destiny Temple, because each time it was opened, each person could only climb the Destiny Mountain once. Yang Xiaoshan looked, and found that the disciples who had entered the Destiny Mountain before had already left, and Long Xiangdang and Ling Shenfengnu had also disappeared. As for Kuan body, it should have been taken away by Long Xiangdang. Yang Xiaoshan thought about it, and flew to the Time Star River. It is rumored that there is the sand of time in the depths of the Time Star River. Although it is difficult to find, he has to try his luck anyway. Chapter 530, Crossing the Galaxy of Time. Just as Yang Xiaoshan was rushing towards the Year's Star River, the news that Yang Xiaoshan had reached the summit of the Destiny Mountain spread. Suddenly, the entire Destiny Temple was shocked. What? Reached the summit of the Destiny Mountain? Who reached the summit of the Destiny Mountain? Impossible. Even Huan Kun Patriarch and Han Feng Divine Lord only have more than 5,000 feet. How could someone reach the summit of the Destiny Mountain? Super sects, super empires, and countless powerful people were all shocked. Even many sword gods who entered the Destiny Temple were shocked and incredible. Giant Lin, the sword god of the South Sky, who was looking for something somewhere in the Destiny Temple, was also stunned when he heard the news and stuttered. 10,000 feet. Reached the summit of the Destiny Mountain. Back then, he tried his best, even risked his life, but he couldn't reach 5,000 feet, and in the end he could only stop at more than 4,000 feet. Now, this descendant of Huanquan Patriarch actually reached the summit of the Destiny Mountain. What kind of freak is this descendant of Huanquan Patriarch? Giant Lin couldn't hide his shock. What does it mean to reach the summit of the Destiny Mountain? No one knows. But he knows what breaking through 5,000 feet means. For countless years, only 7 people have broken through 5,000 feet. These 7 people are all the strongest existences that shock the Wanjian continent. Could the rumor be true? Giant Lin murmured. Rumor has it that, if someone climbs the Xianming Divine Mountain, then this person will be the Son of Destiny. Regarding the Son of Destiny, many ancient books have many mysterious legends. I didn't expect that a million years later, the Son of Destiny was finally born. Giant Lin's face was complicated. If he had a chance, he would see if the Son of Destiny was as terrifying as the ancient books said. The Sun and Moon Saint King who came to the Year's Star River to find the Tree of Life also learned about Yangtze Ocean's ascent to the top of Xianming Divine Mountain. He also learned about the death of Emperor Kan Yuan in the hands of Yangtze Ocean. The Sun and Moon Saint King was shocked and angry. This descendant of the Huanquan Patriarch actually dared to kill their leader's disciple in public. This is simply not taking their Tangshan divine sect seriously. It is simply an unforgivable crime. Pass the order down. If you meet the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch, kill him without mercy. Sun Moon Saint King said in the coldest tone ever. Anyone who has information about the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch will be rewarded with 1 billion. Anyone who captures the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch will be rewarded with 10 billion. Generally, the reward refers to low-grade spiritual stones. An old ancestor of Tangshan divine religion hesitated and said, Lord Saint King, this descendant of Huanquan Patriarch is very likely the legendary Son of Destiny. When the old ancestor mentioned the Son of Destiny, Sun Moon Saint King was immediately furious. What the hell is Son of Destiny? Then he shouted, double the reward for me. Double it again. That is, 2 billion for anyone who has information, and 20 billion for anyone who captures him. When the order of Sun Moon Saint King was announced, the Temple of Destiny was in an uproar. 20 billion low-grade spiritual stones are still very tempting to many strong people, so those who got the news began to search for Yangtze Ocean's traces. Yangtze Ocean also learned that the Sun and Moon Saint King offered a reward for his capture. 2 billion. Yangtze Ocean shook his head and laughed at himself. It seemed that his worth had dropped after he came to the Wanjian continent. Before, the son of the Hades, Yanping, offered a reward of 1 trillion to kill him. 2 billion and 1 trillion are worlds apart. Yangtze Ocean didn't take the Sun and Moon Saint King's reward seriously and continued to fly to the Time Star River. There were only 3 days before the Temple of Destiny was opened, so he had to find the Sand of Time, the Tree of Destiny, and the Fruit of Destiny within these 3 days. As for the dozen or so Hunio and Destiny Godstones, it would not be too late to refine them. After he got out, Yangtze Ocean was very fast. An hour later, he arrived at the Time Star River. In the distance, there were dots of stars in the sky, like a dream. Under the starry sky, there was a river flowing. The river was very beautiful under the starlight. The Time Star River in front of him looked a bit like the Sea of Stars. But the Time Star River was more beautiful than the Sea of Stars. Moreover, the Time Galaxy exudes a power of time, which is the same as the power of his eternal divine body, time. Many masters are already standing on the Time Galaxy. Many masters are constantly flying forward along the surface of the Time Galaxy. However, because of the power of time, the Time Galaxy is extremely difficult to enter the Emperor Realm, so almost all those who enter the Time Galaxy are strong people above the Saint Realm. Little guy, which sect are you from? You don't want to enter the Time Galaxy, do you? At this time, an old man next to him smiled, and then kindly reminded, this Time Galaxy is not simple. It is not something you can enter. You'd better leave. In the past, when the Temple of Destiny was opened, many younger generations overestimated their abilities and broke into the time galaxy. As a result, they could not resist the power of time and were completely devoured by the power of time. The blood and vitality of their bodies were completely eaten up by the power of time and finally died in the time galaxy. Yang Xiaoshan smiled at the old man and said, "Thank you for your reminder, senior, but I still want to try." After speaking, he flew up, landed on the time galaxy, and then walked forward on the river surface. In one step, he was already 100 meters away. The old man was shocked. He didn't expect that Yang Xiaoshan could not only stand steadily on the time galaxy, but also walk forward 100 meters. You know, the further you go, the stronger the power of time will be. If you don't have the strength comparable to the Saint Realm, it is impossible to walk 100 meters. This young man actually has the strength comparable to the Saint Realm. In the old man's surprise, Yang Xiaoshan continued to walk forward and took another step, still 100 meters. Yang Xiaoshan didn't walk fast, but every step he took was 100 meters. Soon, Yang Xiaoshan was already 1,000 meters away. The old man was stunned. In order not to attract attention, Yang Xiaoshan tried to avoid other people and walked forward to a place where no one was. The time galaxy is extremely vast, with a width of unknown miles and a depth of unknown miles. Yang Xiaoshan soon disappeared on the vast time galaxy. Even the Saint Realm strongman who entered the time galaxy for 100 miles would move forward cautiously, but Yang Xiaoshan still strode leisurely, still 100 meters in one step. After entering the Bailey, the power of time is already very strong. When they arrive here, many saints will be eroded by time if they are not careful. But Yang Xiaoshan is not affected at all. His eternal divine body has the power of time, which is the same as the power of time. Therefore, he is not only not affected by the power of time, but also absorbs the power of time here. Others cannot absorb the power of time, but his eternal divine body can. Absorbing the power of time can temper his eternal divine body. Although the power of time in the time galaxy is not as effective as the sand of time, it is still good. Just as Yang Xiaoshan was flying deeper into the time galaxy, the Sun and Moon Saint King led a group of masters of the Tangshan divine religion to fly deeper into the time galaxy. My Lord Saint King, there is news about the descendant of Huangquan Patriarch. Someone saw him enter the time galaxy. An ancestor of the Tangshan divine religion said respectfully to the Sun and Moon Saint King. Chapter 531. Who is this mysterious boy entering the time galaxy? Upon hearing this, the Sun and Moon Saint King's face immediately turned cold. Seal off the entire time galaxy and search every inch of the galaxy for me. I don't believe that we can't capture this kid. Remember, capture this kid. Don't kill him first. Capture him back to the headquarters and hand him over to the Lord of the Sect to deal with him personally. Yes, Lord Saint King. Afterwards, the masters of the Tangshan divine sect began to seal off the time galaxy and search for Yang Xiaoshan with all their strength. Moreover, the Sun and Moon Saint King asked everyone to focus on searching the initial river area. In his opinion, no matter how strong Yang Xiaoshan is, he can't be that strong and can't enter the depths of the time galaxy. Therefore, the people of the Tangshan divine sect mainly searched the 100-mile range of the initial river area of the time galaxy. After Yang Xiaoshan entered the 100-mile area, he continued to move forward without slowing down. Soon, he walked forward for 1,000 miles. When he arrived at 1,000 miles, the power of time here was already terrifying, and those who could come here were almost all masters of the divine realm. Therefore, there were very few people here. In the vast sea, no one could be seen at all. Yang Xiaoshan unfolded his soul power and continued to move forward in the direction where no one was. He urged the power of time of the eternal god body, and the power of the years continued to gather in his body. From a distance, his whole body was shining, like the god of time walking on the star river of time. Unknowingly, Yang Xiaoshan walked 10,000 miles along the star river of time. Here, the power of time is extremely violent. Even if Yang Xiaoshan has the eternal god body, he is still frightened by such a violent power of time. So, when he got here, he slowed down and walked carefully. Although he has the eternal god body and is not afraid of the power of time, it is said that there are extremely dangerous existences in the depths of the star river of time. However, even the peak gods cannot reach here, so Yang Zai Ocean is not worried that someone will find him. After coming here, Yang Zai Ocean relied on the eternal god body to carefully feel the power of the sand of time around him. However, to his disappointment, after searching for an hour, he still did not find any trace of the sand of time. Yang Zai Ocean continued to move forward. Just as Yang Zai Ocean continued to walk forward, looking for the sand of time, a tall old man also came here. This old man, his whole body was supported by divine light, and the weightless divine light resisted the violent power of time. Even the peak gods could not reach here, but this old man came here and remained calm. The old man was Fangjing, the ancestor of the Supreme God Empire. The Supreme God Empire was the first empire of the Wanjian continent, and Fangjing was also one of the most powerful masters of the Wanjian continent. Fangjing came here, looked up, felt the violent power of time, frowned, hesitated for a moment, and continued to move forward. Yang Zai Ocean followed the galaxy to 11,000 miles. What surprised him was that a wisp of mist emerged from the surface of the galaxy of time in front of him. Yang Zai Ocean walked forward carefully, and when the wisp of mist touched him, the place that was touched actually dried up quickly, like the trunk of a dead tree. Yang Zai Ocean was surprised. He had an eternal divine body, and even the eternal divine body could not resist this mist. How terrifying this fog is. This is the fog of time. Uncle Ding said, even ordinary gods cannot resist this fog of time. Gods who are touched by this fog of time will die. Yang Zai Ocean was shocked. Even ordinary gods can't resist it. Although your eternal divine body is powerful, it has not yet reached the minor stage, and it cannot resist this fog of time. Uncle Ding said, emitting a ball of golden light, covering Yang Zai Ocean. In other words, only when his eternal divine body reaches the minor stage can it resist this fog of time. Hearing this, Yang Zai Ocean became more determined to find the sand of time and cultivate the eternal divine body to the minor stage. Yang Zai Ocean walked forward carefully. When he came to 12,000 miles, he suddenly stopped, with a look of surprise on his face, and saw a ball of golden sand floating in front of him. This ball of golden sand, floating and flowing above the star river of time, is very cute. It is the long lost sand of time. Seeing the sand of time made Yang Zai Ocean, who had been searching hard, overjoyed. However, just as he was about to go forward to collect the ball of time sand, Master Ding suddenly said, "Be careful." A vortex suddenly appeared on the surface of the galaxy in front of him, and the vortex expanded instantly, and the swallowing power was extremely terrifying. Yang Zai Ocean quickly dodged and retreated, but even so, he was almost swallowed by the vortex. Is this a space vortex? Yang Zai Ocean was surprised. Master Ding nodded. The space here is unstable, so a space vortex is generated. Yang Zai Ocean sweated coldly. Once swallowed by the space vortex, he would enter the world of space turbulence. At that time, even if he was a god, he might not be able to escape from the world of space turbulence. Knowing that there was a space vortex here at any time, Yang Zai Ocean became more careful. He came to the ball of time sand, activated the time power of the eternal body, and took away the ball of time sand. After successfully collecting the ball of time sand, Yang Zai Ocean breathed a sigh of relief. This time, entering the year's galaxy, it was not in vain to find the ball of time sand. However, this ball of sand of time was much less than the one in Emperor Yunshan's treasury, and was far from enough for his eternal divine body to reach a minor success, so Yang Zai Ocean continued to search forward. However, the sand of time was extremely rare, and the galaxy was vast, so it was extremely difficult to find. Yang Zai Ocean searched for a long time, but did not find the second ball. Moreover, as he walked forward, the space became more unstable, and there were more and more space vortices. These space vortices appeared without any signs, and Yang Zai Ocean was almost swallowed up several times. After staying for a day and a night, Yang Zai Ocean had to withdraw from the time galaxy. After all, he still had to find the destiny tree. Although the sand of time was important, the destiny tree was more important. Fortunately, he gained a lot in this day and night, and found a total of 3 balls of sand of time. Although the 3 balls of sand of time were not many, they were enough for his eternal divine body to improve a lot. Just as Yang Zai Ocean was about to withdraw from the depths of the time galaxy, he suddenly saw an old man carefully avoiding the space vortex and looking for something. The old man was extremely powerful, with divine light propping up layer after layer. It was Fang Jing from the Supreme God Empire. Fang Jing was dodging the space vortex when he suddenly saw a young man in blue shirt walking out from the deepest part of the galaxy. He was shocked. Yang Xiaoshan was also a little surprised. He didn't expect to meet an old man here. You know, even the strong ones in the divine realm can't come here. However, Yang Xiaoshan ignored him and was about to leave. Fang Jing saw Yang Xiaoshan was about to leave and couldn't help but wonder and said, "Little brother, what's your name?" Yang Xiaoshan shook his head, just a passerby. Having said that, he clasped his fists and left in the air. Fang Jing looked at Yang Xiaoshan's leaving figure and was very surprised. Who is this mysterious boy? He can actually enter the deepest part of the galaxy. You know, even he couldn't get in before. Chapter 532, The Young Emperor of Bones. What made Fang Jing doubtful was that the power of this mysterious boy seemed to be the power of time. This boy actually possessed the power of time. It was incredible. Just as Fang Jing was doubtful Yang Xiaoshan was flying outside the Time Star River, the Temple of Destiny was only open for 3 days. Now, half of the time had passed. He had to hurry up to find the Tree of Destiny. Master Ding, where do you think the Tree of Destiny is most likely to be? Yang Xiaoshan asked. He couldn't just keep searching like this. Otherwise, let alone more than a day, even 100 years would not be enough to find the Tree of Destiny. You can go to the Forest of Destiny. Master Ding pondered. Forest of Destiny. Yang Xiaoshan was startled. Is the Tree of Destiny in the Forest of Destiny? Except for the Goddess of Destiny, no one knows where the Tree of Destiny is. Master Ding said, however, there are 3 places where the Tree of Destiny is most likely to be. One is the Time Star River, one is the Forest of Destiny, and one is a Goddess Palace. Yang Xiaoshan had already been to the Time Star River. There were 2 left. One was the Forest of Destiny and the other was the Goddess Palace. Forest of Destiny, Palace of the Goddess. Yang Xiaoshan read. The Palace of the Goddess is the palace where the Goddess of Destiny lived back then. No one knows what's inside, because no one has ever been inside. Uncle Ding said, and you can't get in now. If you want to enter the Palace of the Goddess, you can only enter after the eternal divine body breaks through to the minor success realm. It was the minor success realm of the eternal divine body again. Yang Xiaoshan had no choice. So, he could only pin his hopes on the Forest of Destiny. At this time, the masters of the Tangshan divine religion had already left the outer periphery of the time galaxy. After Yang Xiaoshan left the time galaxy, he rushed to the Forest of Destiny as quickly as possible. After the Sun and Moon Saint King and others searched in the time galaxy to no avail, they also rushed to the Forest of Destiny to join the Hanging Sword God and others. The time galaxy was not close to the Forest of Destiny. When Yang Xiaoshan arrived at the Forest of Destiny, it was already 2 hours later. Since the Forest of Destiny did not have the power of time like the time galaxy, there were a lot of people coming to the Forest of Destiny, at least 10 times more than the time galaxy. Yang Xiaoshan looked around and saw a crowd of people. The Forest of Destiny was full of towering ancient trees, densely packed and endless. A grey mist was flowing in the forest. This grey mist was somewhat like the fog of time, but it was just an ordinary poisonous miasma. Just as Yang Xiaoshan was about to step into the Forest of Destiny, he suddenly sensed a familiar power fluctuation. It's the immortal death god. Yang Xiaoshan suddenly looked towards a certain direction deep in the Forest of Destiny. The familiar power fluctuation just now was the power of the immortal death key. The immortal death god is deep in the Forest of Destiny. Maybe the ancient demon is also there. Yang Xiaoshan had previously guessed that the two might come in when the Temple of Destiny was opened, and sure enough, the immortal death god also entered the Temple of Destiny. Yang Xiaoshan no longer hesitated and rushed into the Forest of Destiny, flying towards the direction of the immortal death key fluctuation at the fastest speed. However, when he arrived, he saw that the immortal death god had long disappeared. There were terrifying deep pits everywhere on the ground. In the surrounding space, there was still residual immortal death key. Master Ding, can you sense the immortal death god? Yang Xiaoshan asked. Uncle Ding shook his head. The marks I planted on them before have disappeared. I can't sense their breath now unless I plant another mark on them. The marks Uncle Ding planted on the two people were not permanent and would disappear after a period of time. Yang Xiaoshan was disappointed after hearing this. He searched for a long time in the Forest of Destiny, but still couldn't find the two people. He had to give up and look for the Destiny tree first. However, he didn't fly far before he saw several corpses lying there. What surprised him was that these corpses had no fatal wounds and no blood. How did these people die? Yang Xiaoshan couldn't help but wonder. They should have been killed by the Great Snake, Uncle Ding said. Grey Snake? Yang Xiaoshan asked. Grey snakes are highly poisonous creatures that live in the Forest of Destiny. Uncle Ding said. They are extremely rare, but extremely dangerous, and their attacks are silent and hard to guard against. Once bitten, even those at the peak of the Saint Realm will die. People who died from the poison of grey snakes appear to be no different from normal people. Also, grey snakes like to eat human brains. Hearing Uncle Ding say that grey snakes like to eat human brains, Yang Xiaoshan felt his scalp tingling. So, the brains of the people lying there have been sucked out by grey snakes. And grey snakes are nearby? There may even be more than one. Yang Xiaoshan turned around and left without even thinking about it. But at this moment, suddenly, a group of people flew towards them. When they saw the bodies lying on the ground, their faces changed. Senior brother Chen, senior sister Lin. One of the women screamed in grief and rushed towards the bodies. Just as Yang Xiaoshan was about to leave, one of the male disciples raised his sword and blocked Yang Xiaoshan's way. Wait. Then he raised his head and said, "Explain." There was no doubt in his tone. Explain? Yang Xiaoshan looked at the other person calmly. Explain how they died? The male disciple's tone was already a little cold. Obviously, he suspected that Yang Xiaoshan had killed several people. Listening to the male disciple's unquestionable cold and arrogant tone, Yang Xiaoshan was too lazy to argue with him and said coldly, "Get out, or die." Both the male disciples and the other dozen people were furious. "Boy, what did you say? Senior brother Chen and senior sister Lin must have been killed by him. Dare to kill my people from the White Bone Demon Palace. You are looking for death." The White Bone Demon Palace is a super sect in the 10,000 Swords continent. Its strength is not weaker than the Lu family that Giant Lin had taken Yang Xiaoshan to before. The palace master of the White Bone Demon Palace is the White Bone Sword God who ranks 49th on the Sword God list. The White Bone Demon Palace was also founded by the White Bone Sword God. The male disciple who stopped Yang Xiaoshan earlier was the chief disciple of the White Bone Demon Palace, and one of the 9 young emperors, the White Bone Young Emperor. He stared at Yang Xiaoshan with murderous intent in his eyes. "Boy, you are really looking for death. I will now pull out your tendons and skin you, and make you live a life worse than death." After saying that, he stabbed Yang Xiaoshan's throat with a sword. However, looking at the sword coming to stab, Yang Xiaoshan did not even look at it. He directly stretched out his hand and flicked it, and saw that the opponent's long sword was shattered into countless sections, and then a cold light flashed, and it shot back into the opponent's forehead, throat, and eyes at an incredible speed. The White Bone Young Emperor stared straight, stood there stiffly, looked at Yang Xiaoshan in disbelief, and then fell straight down. Blood flowed all over the floor. He never thought until his death that he, the chief disciple of the White Bone Demon Palace, and one of the 9 young emperors, would be suddenly killed by a harmless looking boy. The realms in this book: acquired warrior, innate master, martial king, martial patriarch, martial emperor, martial lord, martial emperor, martial saint, deity, celestial god. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 533. Kneel down. The changes were too fast. The disciples of the White Bone Demon Palace were stunned when they saw the body of the White Bone Young Emperor lying on the ground. When they saw Yang Xiaoshan, their faces changed greatly. They couldn't believe that the White Bone Young Emperor, their senior brother, was killed by the young man in front of them. The other party just flicked it lightly, and the broken sword reflected it, and their senior brother died. Died so quickly. So suddenly. Big senior brother. The female disciple even trembled and shouted. She still didn't believe that the invincible existence of the younger generation in her mind would die like this. However, the white bone young emperor lay there without responding. Blood was still flowing in his throat. Yang Xiaoshan didn't look at the body of the white bone young emperor and was about to leave. At this time, another voice broke through the air. The person who came was the elder of the holy realm of the White Bone Demon Palace. Many masters came to the White Bone Demon Palace this time, not only the core disciples of the Emperor realm, but also the strong men of the Holy Realm and the Divine Realm. After they entered the Forest of Destiny, they all looked for the Destiny tree nearby. When the Saint Realm Elder heard the noise, he rushed over. When he arrived, he saw the corpse of the White Bone Young Emperor and several corpses that were killed by the Grey Snake before, and his face changed. Elderly, it's him. He killed the eldest brother. He killed senior brother Chen and senior sister Lin. A disciple saw the person coming, stepped forward happily, pointed at Yang Xiaoshan, and shouted excitedly and angrily. The elderly's eyes fell on Yang Xiaoshan. His eyes were cold, and at the same time he was full of doubts. He certainly knew the strength of the White Bone Young Emperor, and there were few rivals among the younger generation. Who is this boy? He could actually kill their chief disciple of the White Bone Demon Palace. Seeing Yang Xiaoshan wearing a blue shirt, suddenly, his mind flashed. Are you the descendant of the Yellow Spring Patriarch? The descendant of the Yellow Spring Patriarch climbed to the top of the Xianming Divine Mountain and killed the Qian Young Emperor with a sword. It has been a hot topic these 2 days. The young man in front of him looks very much like the descendant of the Yellow Spring Patriarch mentioned by everyone. The descendant of Huanquan Patriarch. All the disciples of the White Bone Demon Palace were shocked. The disciple who pointed at Yang Xiaoshan and shouted angrily just now even took a step back in fear. A person's reputation is like a tree's shadow. In the past 2 days, the rumors about the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch have become more and more mysterious. Some even said that this descendant of Huanquan Patriarch may have cultivated 12 or even 13 ninefold destiny. Otherwise, it would be impossible to have such a terrifying fighting power and kill Emperor Qian with one sword. Since you know that I'm the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch, why don't you kneel down and kowtow? Yang Xiaoshan said coldly. The master of the White Bone Sword God is the ancestor of the Huanquan demon sect. According to the rules, even if the White Bone Sword God is here, he must kneel when he sees him, the leader of the Huanquan demon sect. The elder laughed when he heard this. Kneel down. Boy, do you still think you are the Huanquan Patriarch? Can you command the Huanquan demon sect? You killed my disciples of the White Bone Demon Palace, and you must pay for your life. Today, I will kill you and eliminate the demons for the world. At this point, he urged all his holy power and suddenly attacked Yang Xiaoshan with a sword. With his sword, the White Bone Demon energy rolled, and countless White Bone Demon shadows followed his sword energy and rushed towards Yang Xiaoshan. You who betray your master and destroy your ancestors, you deserve to die. Yang Xiaoshan said coldly, without using a sword, and punched directly. Bang! A huge golden war god appeared behind Yang Xiaoshan. A huge golden fist print broke through the air, instantly blasted away the opponent's White Bone Sword energy and White Bone Demon shadow. It hit the chest of the elder of the White Bone Demon Palace with an unstoppable force. There was a crackling sound. The elder of the White Bone Demon Palace was seen with his whole body armor exploding, and he himself was also blown out. A series of shocking explosions continued from his body. He fell heavily on a towering tree in the distance. The tree was shaking. There was a huge fist hole on the chest of the elder of the White Bone Demon Palace, and the fist hole had pierced his heart and exploded. He stared at Yang Xiaoshan. Golden Divine Fist. The Golden Divine Fist is the secret of the Tangshan Divine Sect. Why does this descendant of the Huanquan Patriarch know the secret of the Tangshan Divine Sect? At this point, his head dropped. Dead. If the heart is blown up, even the most powerful Saint Realm will die. What's more, this elder of the White Bone Demon Palace is only a Saint Realm level 3 peak. What? The disciples of the White Bone Demon Palace looked at elderly who was killed by a punch, took a breath of cold air, and all of them were pale, looking at Yang Xiaoshan in fear. Isn't it said that the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch, who has been rumored to be at most the peak of the second level of the Holy Realm, elderly, who is at the peak of the 3rd level of the Holy Realm, was killed by a punch. This. Yang Xiaoshan looked at the remaining disciples of the White Bone Demon Palace. All of them were terrified. The disciple who just pointed at Yang Xiaoshan and shouted angrily was even shaking. "Kneel down!" Yang Xiaoshan shouted. Suddenly, all the disciples of the White Bone Demon Palace trembled and knelt down. Just as all the disciples of the White Bone Demon Palace knelt down, suddenly, another figure flew over from a distance. Seeing this figure, the disciples of the White Bone Demon Palace were startled. The person who came was the 7th level Supreme Elder of their White Bone Demon Palace. When the Supreme Elder of the White Bone Demon Palace arrived, he saw Elderly, the corpse of the White Bone Young Emperor, and the kneeling disciples of the White Bone Demon Palace, and was shocked. He looked at Yang Xiaoshan who was standing there. "Master." The disciple of the White Bone Demon Palace who had just shouted angrily was overjoyed and shouted to the Supreme Elder who came over. "He killed Elderly, the eldest brother, and the others. He is the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch." He pointed at Yang Xiaoshan angrily. The Supreme Elder of the White Bone Demon Palace was shocked when he heard that the young man in front of him was the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch. At the same time, he could not believe that the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch killed Elderly. He looked at Yang Xiaoshan and said coldly, "Kill my Elder of the White Bone Demon Palace." "Chief disciple, are you going to commit suicide, or do you want me to do it myself?" "Kneel down, I will spare your life," Yang Xiaoshan said coldly. Hearing this, the Supreme Elder of the White Bone Demon Palace laughed, as if he had heard a big joke. "Spare my life? Boy, you are still so rampant when you are about to die." At this point, he suddenly swung a sword to kill Yang Xiaoshan. "In that case, then you will die." He urged all his holy power. The holy light of the long sword surged, and infinite sword energy shot out. It was still the white bone sword technique, but the power of his white bone swordsmanship is undoubtedly more than 10 times stronger than that of Elderly just now. Just when the long sword of the Supreme Elder of the White Bone Demon Palace stabbed in front of Yang Xiaoshan, suddenly, Yang Xiaoshan's whole body was filled with golden light, and an extremely huge golden elixir flew out of his body. When the golden elixir flew out, the divine light soared into the sky. The heaven and earth shook, countless towering trees all trembled, and the terrifying divine power swept across the heaven and earth. The golden elixir stood high in the sky. At this moment, all the dark corners of the Destiny Forest were illuminated by the golden light. In the Destiny Forest, all the strong men turned their heads in surprise at this moment. Everyone saw the golden elixir standing high in the sky like a golden sun. Chapter 534 Activating the Monument of Time. They had never seen such a huge golden elixir, and had never seen a golden elixir that would emit a lot of divine light. What kind of golden elixir is this? Could it be the Holy God Golden Elixir? No, it can't be the Holy God Golden Elixir. The Holy God Golden Elixir doesn't have such a divine light. An old ancestor of the Tangshan divine sect said in shock. It is above the best. Divine grade. It is a divine golden elixir. Oh my god, a divine golden elixir. I actually saw a divine golden elixir today. It has been millions of years, and a divine golden elixir has appeared in the world. Divine grade. All the old ancestors were shocked. Who is it? Which terrifying monster cultivated the divine golden elixir? Quick, check it for me. Recruit such a genius at all costs. The supreme ancestor of the Divine Emperor sect trembled and roared. The Divine Emperor sect inherited from the ancient Supreme Divine Emperor, and is now one of the most powerful super sects in the Wanjian continent. Its strength is not much weaker than that of the Tangshan Divine sect. Quick, go into the Destiny Forest and check it for me. Who cultivated the Divine Golden Elixir? Another supreme ancestor of the Avasi Demon sect also jumped and shouted excitedly. Like the Divine Emperor sect, the Avasi Demon sect is one of the most powerful super sects in the Wanjian continent. The ancestors of other super sects also excitedly issued orders. The Sun and Moon Saint King was also shocked when he saw the Divine Golden Elixir that seemed to be above the 9 heavens. He had never thought that one day someone would be able to cultivate a divine golden elixir. Check for me, who cultivated the divine golden elixir? The Sun and Moon Saint King's voice was also excited. However, the Destiny Forest was extremely vast. Although they could see the divine golden elixir, they could not determine the specific location of the divine golden elixir. At this time, Yang Ocean punched out, and the vast power of the divine golden elixir roared out with a fist force, destroying the white bone sword energy of the white bone demon palace's grand elder, and then blasted the opponent out. The white bone demon palace's grand elder fell to the ground fiercely, vomiting blood. Like the previous elderly, his chest was pierced by Yang Ocean's fist. He looked at the sky in horror. Divine golden elixir. Those white bone demon palace disciples were also shocked. Divine golden elixir. The divine golden elixir was right above their heads. This descendant of Huanquan patriarch actually cultivated a divine golden elixir. Yang Ocean walked towards the supreme elder of the white bone demon palace. Although his chest was pierced, he was not dead yet. Yang Ocean stood in front of him and looked at him coldly. The supreme elder of the white bone demon palace looked at Yang Ocean, who was doing his best. His eyes were full of fear. He didn't know whether it was fear or because he was too seriously injured, so he couldn't speak. Yang Ocean waved his hand, and a sword energy shot through the throat of the other party. The supreme elder of the white bone demon palace finally collapsed there. Yang Ocean glanced at the disciple of the white bone demon palace. The disciple was almost scared to death. He retreated in panic. However, as soon as he retreated, a sword energy flashed and disappeared, and he saw his head flying up and rolling to the ground. His body was still standing there, and blood was gushing from his neck. The white bone demon palace disciples were covered with blood. Yang Ocean broke through the air and flew away. When Yang Ocean flew through the air, a foul smell came, and a disciple of the white bone demon palace had a large wet crotch. After leaving, Yang Ocean continued to look for the destiny tree. Not long after he left, he saw many masters flying forward quickly. The destiny tree has appeared. An ancestor has discovered the destiny tree. Quick! The destiny tree. Yang Ocean heard it and flew forward quickly. When he arrived, he saw masters from various sects standing on the ground in front of him. In front of him, there was a huge river of time. This river of time rolled endlessly and flowed to the sky. The fog of time appeared in an endless stream, blocking everyone. On the other side of the river of time, the fog was thick, and a huge tree could be seen vaguely. This tree was filled with a powerful force of destiny, and it was the destiny tree. An old ancestor of the god realm broke through the air and tried to cross the river of time and fly to the other side. However, just as he flew over the river of time, he suddenly screamed. His whole body withered instantly and turned into a mummy, falling into the river. Seeing this scene, many strong men who had originally planned to force their way in were shocked and dared not move forward. Many people at the scene recognized the old ancestor of the god realm just now. He was an extremely powerful god. Even he could not resist the power of the river of time. His whole body was corroded by the blood and vitality in an instant. Who would dare to break in? It seems that the legend is true. To cross the river of time and reach the other side, you must activate the monument of time. An extremely ancient ancestor said, activate the monument of time and the bridge of destiny will appear. Only by crossing the bridge of destiny can you reach the other side. Hearing the words of this ancestor, many people's eyes fell on the monument of time in front of the river of time. The monument of time is only half a person's height, flowing with a faint light, and full of various words. Can the bridge of destiny resist the power of the river of time? A strong man was surprised. It is rumored that only those with extraordinary talents can activate the monument of time, but no one has ever been able to activate it. The old ancestor shook his head. In other words, to activate the monument of time, it does not depend on strength, but only on talent. Let me try. At this time, a young man flew out and walked towards the monument of time. The son of Xitigabha. Many masters at the scene recognized the young man. The son of Xitigabha is the supreme genius disciple of the Xitigabha Buddhist sect. In the Wanjian continent, there are countless geniuses in many superpowers, but there is only one son of Xitigabha. In the Holy Realm, only those with the most extraordinary talents can become sons of Xitigabha after passing various tests. Although Emperor Khan and Emperor Langxiang are known as the 9 young emperors, their talents are far inferior to those of the sons of Xitigabha. The son of Xitigabha came to the monument of time and placed his hand on it. Then, his whole body was filled with light, and a golden elixir flew out. Top grade elixir. Everyone was surprised. and it was a top grade golden elixir ranked in the top 100. Then, the martial soul and spirit ring of the Xitigab Saint flew out one by one, and even the destiny was summoned one by one. The martial soul was a 14 level martial soul, the spirit ring was a 90,000 year spirit ring, and the destiny was an 8-fold destiny, and there were 9 8-fold destiny. His whole body was surging with light, and countless holy powers poured into the monument of time. Suddenly, the densely packed words on the monument of time began to light up one by one. Soon, all 1,000 words lit up. However, the monument of time has 10,000 words. In order to activate the monument of time, all 10,000 words must be lit up. But the Xitigab Saint could only make more than 2,000 words light up in the end. He tried many times without success, and finally had to shake his head and give up. Let me try. At this time, a strong man with a sword energy that soared into the sky walked out. It's the extraordinary sword god. When everyone saw the person coming, their faces changed, and they said excitedly, "The extraordinary sword god, the sword god ranked in the top 30 of the sword god list, is as famous as the sword god of the south sky, Jianlin." Chapter 535. Just want to touch the monument of time. In the eyes of everyone's excitement and awe, the extraordinary sword god came to the monument of time. He was tall, and put his hand on the monument of time, and then he activated his golden elixir, martial soul, soul ring, destiny, divine body, holy fruit and even sword intent one by one. The extraordinary sword god's golden elixir was surprisingly one of the top 10 best golden elixirs. The martial soul was the top level 14 martial soul. The soul ring was 99,000 years old, close to 100,000 years old. The destiny was 12 9-fold destiny. The divine body was the ancient top beast divine body. The holy fruit was also 12 9-fold holy fruits. And the sword intent was even more terrifying. It was 13 kinds of sword intent. Seeing the terrifying talent of the extraordinary sword god, everyone was shocked. As the power of the extraordinary sword god's amazing talents was activated, the words on the monument of time kept lighting up, and soon reached 3,000. Then, it was 4,000. However, after 4,000, it slowed down. After breaking through to 5,000 words, it was even slower. In the end, it stopped at more than 5,100 words. Everyone was shocked, and it was even more incredible. With such a terrifying talent of the extraordinary sword god, he could only activate more than 5,000 words. There are still more than 4,000 words to 10,000 words. Seeing this, everyone despaired. Even the extraordinary sword god can only activate more than 5,000 words. Who else can activate this monument of time? I'm afraid no one in the world can activate it. An ancestor shook his head and sighed at the monument of time. Many strong men who were eager to try were like being poured with a basin of cold water. Everyone saw the extraordinary sword god. Although there were many talented monsters at the scene, no one dared to say that their talent was comparable to that of the extraordinary sword god. Even the extraordinary sword god could only activate more than 5,000 words, so they had no hope. The extraordinary sword god tried again, but it was still more than 5,100 words, and finally he had to give up. Even if it was as above, there were still people at the scene who were unwilling to give up and stepped forward to try to activate the monument of time. But without exception, none of them succeeded. Generally, they activated 2,000 words or 3,000 words. After the extraordinary sword god, no one could activate 5,000 words. After more than 20 people tried, no one came forward to try. Everyone was completely desperate. For a while, no one came out. Seeing this, Yang Xiaoshan walked out of the crowd. Everyone was surprised to see Yang Xiaoshan, a teenager of 16 or 17 years old, walking towards the monument of time. An old ancestor joked, "Little guy, which family are you from? You'd better not try it. If you can't even activate 100 words, it will be a joke." The son of Xitigab laughed and said, "Maybe this little brother just wants to touch the monument of time." Everyone laughed. Even the extraordinary sword god laughed. In the eyes of everyone, Yang Xiaoshan just wanted to touch the monument of time to satisfy his curiosity. In fact, there were quite a few people who had this idea at the scene. Many people wanted to touch the monument of time. Even if they couldn't activate the monument of time, it would be good to touch it. However, in front of so many powerful people, many people were embarrassed. Amid the laughter of everyone, Yang Xiaoshan came to the Monument of Time. Yang Xiaoshan stared at the Monument of Time and placed his palm on it. Suddenly, his whole body was filled with golden light, and a dazzling and huge golden elixir flew out of his body. When the golden elixir flew out, the ground shook, and everyone at the scene was unstable for a moment, and the terrifying divine power swept across the world. The golden light that shone through the world almost blinded everyone's eyes. All the laughter stopped abruptly, and everyone looked at the huge golden elixir that soared into the sky in shock. Many of them had just seen this golden elixir not long ago. The divine golden elixir. It's really a divine golden elixir. The divine golden elixir is born. Oh my god, the divine golden elixir is born. Everyone was shocked and excited. One by one, the ancestors, the ancient ancestors, and the saints of the great sects were all shocked. The extraordinary sword god was also shocked. It turned out to be a divine golden elixir. Previously, a divine golden elixir was born in the forest of destiny, and everyone was boiling, looking for who cultivated the divine golden elixir. Now they finally know that it was a young man. It was the young man in front of him. The young man in front of him cultivated an eternal miracle. Got great golden elixir, an eternal miracle. An old ancestor was so excited that his eyes turned red. Under the power of the divine golden elixir, the Monument of Time soon surged with light, and one word after another began to light up, and soon, 2,000 words lit up. However, when the 2,000 words lit up, they stopped. The talent of a divine golden elixir can only activate 2,000 words on the Monument of Time. The originally excited people were stunned. The divine golden elixir can only activate 2,000 words on the Monument of Time. What a pity. An old ancestor shook his head and sighed in excitement. To be able to cultivate a divine golden elixir, this is such a monstrous talent, but it's a pity that it can only activate 2,000 words on the Monument of Time. Just when everyone was feeling sorry, suddenly, Yang Xiaoshan's whole body of golden light surged again, and the second equally dazzling and huge golden elixir flew out. The two golden elixirs stood in the sky, and the divine power ravaged the world. The golden light illuminated the space of the Temple of Destiny layer after layer, and even the space outside the Forest of Destiny was illuminated. All the masters inside and outside the Forest of Destiny were looking at the two golden pills full of divine light in shock. Two divine golden pills. An old ancestor at the scene screamed with a trembling voice, and many masters were so scared that they almost fell to the ground. This young man actually cultivated two divine golden pills. The extraordinary sword god was also frightened and shocked. The son of Xitigaba was already frightened and incoherent. Under the power of the second divine golden pill, the Monument of Time finally shone brightly again, and finally 4,000 words lit up. But this time, no one dared to sigh, and everyone stared at Yang Xiaoshan, fearing that Yang Xiaoshan would come up with a third divine golden pill. Is it really going to come with a third divine golden pill? An old ancestor was shocked and thought. Under the gaze of everyone, suddenly, Yang Xiaoshan's whole body glowed again, and a huge destiny flew out. Everyone had never seen such a huge destiny. Everyone still remembers the ninefold destiny of the extraordinary sword god. But now, the ninefold destiny of the extraordinary sword god is just a small loach in front of this huge destiny. 12,960 miles. What kind of destiny is this? An extremely ancient ancestor trembled. The extraordinary sword god stared at Yang Xiaoshan's destiny with great excitement. Above the heaven is union. This is union destiny. This is union destiny. Me. What? Union destiny above the heaven. Everyone who was waiting for the third divine golden elixir was shocked. Some extremely ancient ancestors also knew about the record that above the heaven is union. One of the most ancient ancestors choked up and said, I actually saw the birth of union destiny. I will not be ashamed even if I die. Because he understood the meaning of union destiny. Chapter 536. The Tree of Destiny. Union Destiny. The Xitigaba saint, who had just teased Yang Xiaoshan that this little brother just wanted to touch the Monument of Time, fell to the ground completely. Two great divine golden pills. Union Destiny. Did this little brother he was talking about really just want to touch it? Many geniuses from super sects at the scene fell to the ground. Under the power of Yang Zai Ocean's Unio and Destiny, the light of the Monument of Time surged, and the words after 4,000 words finally lit up again, and finally stopped at 6,000 words 6,000. It has surpassed the extraordinary sword god. Even if the extraordinary sword god has cultivated 13 sword intentions and 12 9-layer holy fruits, the talent displayed by Yang Zai Ocean at this moment has already crushed the extraordinary sword god. Whether it is the divine golden pill or the Unio and Destiny, they are all eternal miracles. The young man in front of him has 3 eternal miracles. Everyone was silent. Then, Yang Zai Ocean's whole body glowed again. Everyone stared at Yang Zai Ocean closely, fearing to miss any moment. Under everyone's gaze, another huge destiny flew out. 2 Unio and Destiny. Seeing Yang Zai Ocean's second Unio and Destiny, everyone was shocked again. Under the urging of the 2 divine golden pills and the 2 Unio and Destiny, the 8,000 words on the Monument of Time lit up, and the entire monument was dazzling. Looking at the dazzling Monument of Time, everyone held their breath. Now, only 2,000 words are left, and the Monument of Time can be fully activated. At that time, the Bridge of Destiny will appear in the world. Originally, Yang Zai Ocean planned to summon the Supreme King Martial Soul or the Eternal Divine Body or the Million-Year Soul Ring, but in the end he summoned the 3rd Unio and Destiny. When Yang Zai Ocean summoned the 3rd Unio and Destiny, all the words on the Monument of Time completely lit up. The entire stone tablet gushed out endless light. This light, like the 2 divine golden pills, also illuminated the entire Forest of Destiny. At the moment, when the entire Monument of Time was activated, the Sun Moon Saint King led the masters of the Tangshan Divine Sect to the scene. The Sun Moon Saint King, the Hanging Sword God, the Xing Sword God and others looked at the activated Monument of Time, the 2 divine golden pills and the 3 mixed destiny of Yang Zai Ocean, and were all stunned. Just now, they had been looking for who cultivated the divine golden pill, and now, the divine golden pill was right in front of them. Not only the divine golden pill, but also the mixed destiny. Who is this boy? The Sun Moon Saint King asked in shock. Everyone looked at each other. At this time, someone suddenly said, "It's the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch. He is the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch." The person who spoke was the dragon elephant young emperor who had just arrived. What? As soon as Long Xiangdang said this, everyone at the scene exploded. No one expected that this boy who cultivated the divine golden pill and the mixed destiny was actually the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch who had been rumored in the past 2 days. The originally shocked Sun Moon Saint King was like being struck by thunder, and his whole body was shaken. Then, his face was gloomy and full of murderous intent. At this time, above the river of time, a light suddenly vibrated, and a wide bridge of destiny appeared. The bridge of destiny leads directly to the other side of the tree of destiny. Seeing that Yang Zai Ocean was about to enter the bridge of destiny, the Sun and Moon Saint King suddenly punched Yang Zai Ocean. "Quick, stop him, don't let him enter the bridge of destiny." All the masters of Tangshan divine religion reacted and attacked. The power of destroying the world flooded Yang Zai Ocean. However, just as the people of Tangshan divine religion attacked, Yang Zai Ocean flashed and fell on the bridge of destiny. When he landed on the bridge of destiny, the masters of Tangshan divine religion hit him with a destructive blow. Seeing that the masters of Tangshan divine religion blasted Yang Zai Ocean away with a destructive blow, suddenly, the bridge of destiny surged with light, and when all the masters of Tangshan divine religion blocked it, no matter how strong the attack of hundreds of masters of Tangshan divine religion was, they could not shake the power of the bridge of destiny. The Sun and Moon Saint King, the Hanging Sword God and others were instead shaken by the power of the bridge of destiny and flew backwards. Everyone was shocked. Yang Zai Ocean glanced at the Sun and Moon Saint King and others coldly, and then walked along the bridge of destiny to the other side. Under the bridge of destiny, the river of time was rolling endlessly, and the power of time was extremely violent, but no matter how strong the power of the river of time was, it could not shake the bridge of destiny. Yang Zai Ocean walked towards the other side step by step. Seeing this, an old ancestor also wanted to rush onto the bridge of destiny. However, just as he was about to rush onto the bridge of destiny, the power of destiny of the bridge of destiny was activated, and shook him away. The same was true for other strong men who wanted to board the bridge of destiny. No matter what method they used, or what power they used, they could never board the bridge of destiny. In the end, the strong men from all sides could only watch Yang Xiaoshan walk to the other side. When Yang Xiaoshan walked to the other side, the bridge of destiny disappeared. Seeing this, the Sun and Moon Saint King's face was as gloomy as water. Don't worry, Lord Saint King. He will definitely return after he gets the destiny tree and destiny fruit. We will make a move when he comes back, said an old ancestor of the Tangshan divine sect. The Sun and Moon Saint King's face looked better. That's right, Yang Xiaoshan will definitely come from the other side after he gets the destiny tree. Then, they will make a move. The descendant of Huangquan Patriarch can't escape, even if he has wings. The other powerful men of the other sects also had the same idea and began to wait in place. After all, the temptation of the destiny tree and the destiny fruit was too great, and no one would not be tempted. However, just when everyone was planning to wait for Yang Xiaoshan to come back before taking action, they saw Yang Xiaoshan, who had walked to the other side, gradually disappear. Not only did Yang Xiaoshan disappear, but even the destiny tree on the other side, the river of time, and the monument of time disappeared. What's going on? Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw this scene. The Sun and Moon Saint King hurriedly stepped forward and saw that the original river of time, the monument of time, the destiny tree, and Yang Xiaoshan had indeed disappeared, disappearing out of thin air. Just when everyone was frantically looking for Yang Xiaoshan and the tree of destiny, Yang Xiaoshan came to a small world. In this small world, the key of destiny was extremely abundant. On the ground in front stood a huge tree of destiny. Yang Xiaoshan took a deep breath of the key of destiny and felt the mysterious breath of the key of destiny. In his excitement, he came to the tree of destiny. The tree of destiny was as huge as the tree of stars, with a little light all over its body. 8 destiny fruits grew on its branches. Yang Xiaoshan was overjoyed. Originally, he thought it would be good to have 5 or 6 destiny fruits, but now there are 8. A few more than he expected. With these 8 destiny fruits, his strength would be greatly improved. In his great joy, he picked the 8 destiny fruits one by one, and kept them, as if they were treasures. However, if the destiny fruits were collected, how could the destiny tree be moved away? In the future, if he cultivated a divine body of destiny, he could use the key of destiny of the destiny tree to cultivate, so this destiny tree was extremely important to him. Yang Xiaoshan thought about it, placed his hand on the trunk of the destiny tree, and activated the power of Hunio and destiny. Chapter 537 Titan Troll. When Yang Xiaoshan activated the power of Hunio and destiny, the light of the destiny tree vibrated. Seeing the movement of the destiny tree, Yang Xiaoshan was delighted and activated the power of 2 Hunio and destiny. Suddenly, the light of the destiny tree vibrated more and more violently. Yang Xiaoshan immediately activated 3 Hunio and destiny. The light of the destiny tree soared. Yang Xiaoshan activated the 4th, 5th, and finally, all the Hunio and destiny. The light of the destiny tree soared into the sky, and the mysterious light of destiny spread like waves. Then, the ground around the destiny tree shook constantly, and then began to collapse continuously, and the destiny tree began to rise slowly. Under the continuous infusion of Yang Xiaoshan's 9 Hunio and destiny powers, the destiny tree finally flew out, and stood high in the sky. The surging power of destiny roared, and filled the entire space. Under the traction of Yang Xiaoshan's Hunio and destiny power, the destiny tree stood high in the sky, and the power of destiny fell to Yang Xiaoshan like a waterfall. Yang Xiaoshan activated the dragon art, and devoured the power of destiny. Suddenly, the power of destiny continued to flow into his body. When you have a divine body of destiny in the future, you can practice the divine power of destiny of the goddess of destiny, said Dingyi. Divine power of destiny. Yang Xiaoshan's heart was lifted. Not bad. Dingyi said, if you have the divine power of destiny, and practice it with the divine tree of destiny, your divine body of destiny will be greatly improved. The divine power of destiny should be in the goddess palace. Yang Xiaoshan immediately wilted. To enter the goddess palace, you must have a minor success in the eternal body. He can't enter the goddess palace now. However, the goddess of destiny has a disciple called the Old Man of Time, who also knows the divine power of destiny. Dingyi said. Old Man of Time. Yang Xiaoshan read. So, after going out, he has to ask about the whereabouts of the Old Man of Time. Yang Xiaoshan put the divine tree of destiny into the medicine cauldron, searched around in this space, but couldn't find the exit. Finally, he had no choice but to sit cross-legged on the ground to practice. After the 3 days of the opening of the Temple of Destiny, everyone in the Temple of Destiny will be sent out of the Temple of Destiny. Now he can only wait slowly. Time passed. 3 days were finally up. Yang Xiaoshan felt an amazing space-swallowing force enveloping him. The world spun around, and the scenery changed. He was already outside the Temple of Destiny, looking at the blue sky and clear water outside the boundless sea. Yang Xiaoshan felt as if he were in another world. He did not stop and quickly broke through the air and left. Now, he had to find a place to refine all the destiny fruits and all the Hunio and destiny stones. Not long after Yang Xiaoshan left, the Sun and Moon Saint King, the Hanging Sword God and others were also sent out of the Temple of Destiny one by one. The Sun and Moon Saint King scanned the crowd, his face gloomy. Pass the order. Offer a reward for the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch. Anyone who finds the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch will be rewarded with 100 billion. Anyone who captures or kills the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch will be rewarded with 200 billion. In addition, announce to the world that the destiny tree is on the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch. The destiny tree is on the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch. Once the news spreads, everyone in the Wanjian continent will rise up to kill him. By then, there will be no place for the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch to hide in the world. It will be difficult for the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch to survive. What's more, there are still 200 billion to be taken for killing the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch. Brother Saint King, perhaps we can recruit him. Xuankang Sword God pondered. The Sun and Moon Saint King shook his head. How could such an eternal evil genius be inferior to others? He killed the core disciples of our sect, so it is even more impossible for him to surrender to our Tangshan divine sect. Soon, the reward of Tangshan divine sect spread. The powerful people of the major forces in Wanjian continent were shocked. Almost the day the news spread, the entire Wanjian continent began to search for Yang Xiaoshan's whereabouts. As the Sun and Moon Saint King thought, no one would not be tempted by the destiny tree. In addition, there was a reward of 200 billion for killing Yang Xiaoshan, which was enough to make many people crazy. The night was quiet. At this time, it was winter, and the night was cold. In the whistling wind, a figure kept flying over the wilderness. It was Yang Xiaoshan. Suddenly, Yang Xiaoshan stopped and said, "You have been following for so long. Don't you plan to come out?" After Yang Xiaoshan finished speaking, he saw the dark light in front of him surging like the sea, and an extremely huge figure walked out of the dark sea. The other party seemed to be the supreme demon from the dark world, with boundless demonic energy rolling and surging, and the terrifying aura enveloped the world, blocking all the space around Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Xiaoshan's eyes condensed. The body of the Tangshan demon ape was huge, but the dark demon in front of him was even bigger, much bigger than the Tangshan demon ape. And the strength of the other party's dark demonic energy was the only one Yang Xiaoshan had ever seen in his life. Seeing the person coming, Yang Xiaoshan had already guessed the other party's identity and said, "Titan Troll." The person coming was the Titan Troll, the devil among devils in Wanjian continent and the god of all devils. Titan Troll made all the strong men in Wanjian continent change color when they heard about it. The grandfather of Titan Troll was one of the 4 strongest devils under the seat of Huanquan Patriarch. "Boy, you are the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch." Titan Troll stood there, looking down at Yang Xiaoshan with blood-red eyes, and his voice shook the surrounding space of 100 miles. "Yes," Yang Xiaoshan said calmly. "Since you are the descendant of Huanquan Patriarch, hand over the Huanquan Ring, Huanquan Divine Art and the Divine Tree of Destiny, and I can spare your life." Titan Troll said. Hearing this, Yang Xiaoshan pointed at the Huanquan Ring, and activated the 10th Huanquan Divine Art at the same time. Suddenly, Huanquan Divine Armor covered his whole body, and the surging Huanquan Ki wrapped around him, turning into a Huanquan barrier. The 10th level of Huanquan Divine Art. The Titan Troll was surprised. He obviously didn't expect Yang Xiaoshan to have practiced Huanquan Divine Art to the 10th level. He knew how difficult it was to practice the supreme magic art like Huanquan Divine Art. Even for him, it would be impossible to practice Huanquan Divine Art to the 10th level without hundreds of years. But how old is Yang Zai Ocean? As a descendant of Huanquan demon sect, you should know what the 10th level of Huanquan divine art means. Yang Zai Ocean said calmly, when you see me, you should see the Huanquan patriarch and perform the ritual of 3 bows and 9 kowtows. Hearing this, the Titan troll sneered, although you have practiced Huanquan divine art to the 10th level, do you think you have the strength to lead Huanquan demon sect? Having said this, he then said, if you can withstand my 3 palms without dying, I will recognize your identity as the leader of Huanquan demon sect, follow you, and serve Huanquan demon sect. In his opinion, let alone 3 palms, even if he just used a finger, a random bloke could crush Yang Zai Ocean to death 100 times. Go ahead. Yang Zai Ocean said. The Titan troll was stunned. He didn't expect Yang Zai Ocean to really take his 3 palms. He looked at Yang Zai Ocean suspiciously and said in a deep voice, since you are determined to die, you can't blame me. Having said that, he raised his giant palm and slapped Yang Zai Ocean down. Chapter 538, 3 palms passed. When the Titan troll's huge hand fell, the monstrous magic power was like a black sea at the end of the world, bombarding Yang Zai Ocean. Before the palm power fell, the terrifying power caused all the mountains around Yang Zai Ocean to collapse continuously. The ground where Yang Zai Ocean stood began to break apart. In front of the Titan troll's vast magic power, Yang Zai Ocean was as weak as an ant and dust. Boom. The Titan troll's destructive power slapped down directly from Yang Zai Ocean's head. The ground shook violently for countless miles. Sand and rocks flew. Countless sand and dust flew up and floated in the sky and earth. Countless miles of space were grey and dark. As the dark power rolled, the dust in the sky did not fall for a long time. But the Titan troll looked at the figure standing in the dust in disbelief. Yang Zai Ocean was actually fine. This is impossible. Even a strong man in the 10th level of the divine spirit would be seriously injured if he did not die from the palm he just hit. Not to mention Yang Zai Ocean, who was in the emperor level. Show the second palm. Yang Zai Ocean, standing in the dust, said. The Titan's face darkened, and his whole body was filled with demonic energy, emitting amazing demonic flames. The demonic flames were so huge that the entire night sky seemed to be burned. Under his demonic flames, the silver moon above the 9 heavens lost its luster. His power was rising again and again. 7 evil devil palms. Die. The Titan's eyes shot out terrifying bloodlight, and he slapped down again. The huge demon palm once again slammed down on Yang Zai Ocean's head with a destructive force. When the huge demon palm slapped down, 7 kinds of demonic light appeared on its demon palm. This was one of the supreme demon palms of the Huanquan demon sect, the 7 evil demon palms. Just now, the Titan did not use his full strength, but just slapped casually. Now, he not only slapped with all his strength, but also displayed the supreme demon palm of the Huanquan demon sect, and its power was far stronger than that palm just now. Boom. The huge palm slapped the ground. The entire ground exploded. A terrifying sandstorm was formed. The surrounding mountains were all turned into dust. Under the palm strike of the Titan troll, everything around was destroyed. However, after the Titan troll blasted out this confident palm strike, he was stunned. He saw Yang Zai Ocean still standing there motionless. The ground around Yang Zai Ocean had been blasted into a terrifying deep pit, but Yang Zai Ocean and the ground within 100 meters under his feet were intact. It was as if his palm strike just now did not hit Yang Zai Ocean at all. Or to Yang Zai Ocean, his palm strike was just a breeze. Just blowing a cool breeze on Yang Zai Ocean. The Titan troll's face was as ugly as it could be. 2 palm strikes. He was the god of 10,000 demons, the supreme troll, and he couldn't kill an emperor with 2 consecutive palm strikes. There is a 3rd palm strike. Yang Zai Ocean's voice sounded. Hearing Yang Zai Ocean's voice, the Titan troll's killing intent was violent, and the magic flames all over his body rose to the sky again. His originally huge body swelled several times again, and then he had a glove on his palm. This is the strongest artifact of the Titan trolls, the hand of the heavy god. Under the Titan troll's divine power, the hand of the heavy god's divine light shines layer by layer, illuminating the surrounding world. He jumped up and came to Yang Zai Ocean, roaring loudly, and the roaring airwaves shattered millions of trees. He used all his strength and slapped Yang Zai Ocean's head again. I'm the Titan Troll, the god of all demons, the supreme troll. I don't believe that you, an emperor, can really withstand 3 of my palms. The Titan Troll looked crazy. He even activated the Titan Troll bloodline that he hadn't activated for many years. The Titan Troll bloodline is one of the strongest demon bloodlines in ancient times. His whole body was actually flushed with blood. Boom. The Titan Troll used all his strength to slam the 3rd palm down. The terrifying power slammed into the depths of the ground. Countless ants were killed in the ground. When the Titan Troll raised his palm, he was struck by lightning. He stared at Yang Ocean, who was still standing there, motionless. He was still fine. He couldn't believe it. How is it possible? He couldn't accept the fact in front of him. He used the Titan Troll bloodline and the artifact, the hand of the god. But not only did he fail to kill Yang Ocean, he couldn't even hurt Yang Ocean's fur. How could this be? Even if an emperor had a powerful defensive artifact, it was impossible for him to withstand 3 palms from him and be fine. 3 palms have passed. Yang Ocean said, kneel down. The Titan Troll's face changed from cloudy to bright. He stared at Yang Ocean with murderous intent, hesitation, unwillingness, and confusion in his eyes, but he was reluctant to kneel down and serve. He was unwilling to let a dignified ancient troll be loyal to a junior. Seeing this, Yang Ocean snorted coldly. Under the Titan Troll's gaze, suddenly, a huge golden tripod burning with golden flames flew out. The golden tripod had boundless power and enveloped the Titan Troll. Feeling the boundless power of lording, the Titan Troll's face changed drastically. What kind of artifact is this? An ancient artifact? No, an ancient artifact cannot have such a terrifying power. Kneel down. Yang Ocean shouted like thunder. Lording's power surged again, and the terrifying divine power made it difficult for the Titan Troll to breathe. Thui, a disciple of Huanquan demon sect, greets the sect master. The Titan Troll finally knelt down. Looking at the kneeling Titan Troll in front of him, Yang Ocean threw a pill to him. This pill, you swallow it. The Titan Troll looked at the pill in his hand, took a deep breath, and finally swallowed it, then kept shrinking, and turned into a 2-meter tall strong man standing behind Yang Ocean. Is there any safe place? I want to practice in seclusion. Yang Ocean said. Now, he urgently needs to find a safe place to swallow the destiny fruit to practice, and then bear the 10th or even more Hunyuan destiny. Master, how about we go to my cave? The Titan Troll thought for a moment and said, my cave is safe. The Titan Troll's cave is surrounded by a forbidden area of the Wanjian continent. Generally, no one dares to approach his cave. Okay. Yang Ocean nodded. So, the 2 of them flew into the air and flew to the Titan Troll's cave. But not long after they left, they met a group of masters from the White Bone Demon Palace. Ancestor, he is the descendant of the Yellow Spring Patriarch. One of the masters of the White Bone Demon Palace pointed at Yang Ocean from a distance, excited. Now, everyone is looking for the whereabouts of the descendant of the Yellow Spring Patriarch. Whoever finds the descendant of the Yellow Spring Patriarch first means who finds the destiny tree first, which means who gets 200 billion. How can he not be excited? Hundreds of masters of the White Bone Demon Palace all have fiery eyes and rush towards Yang Ocean excitedly. Kill them all. Yang Ocean's voice is cold. Suddenly, the Titan Troll's blood-red eyes were filled with murderous intent. He grasped the void and grabbed a God Realm ancestor from the White Bone Demon Palace. He brought the other party in front of him and tore him in half. The blood of the god spilled violently on the ground. Chapter 539, Heartless Medicine God. The one torn in half by the Titan Troll was the famous stone demon of the White Bone Demon Palace, who was also a great demon that made people shudder. But in front of the Titan Troll, he didn't even have a chance to resist and was torn alive. His internal organs were scattered all over the ground. The stone demon was excited and rushed towards Yang Ocean, his destiny tree, and the 200 billion. He didn't expect that the strong man standing next to Yang Ocean would be a Titan Troll. He didn't expect that he would be torn to death by a living person until his death. You know, the physical body of a strong man in the spirit realm is extremely strong, and ordinary artifacts can't hurt it, let alone being torn by a living person. However, the Titan Troll tore him to death directly. The white bone demon palace masters who rushed with the stone demon didn't expect such a sudden change. Seeing the stone demon being torn alive, they were all terrified, and their faces were pale. They looked at the Titan troll with fear. Everyone stopped. "Who are you?" one of the ancestors asked tremblingly. However, what responded to him was a palm from the Titan troll. A huge dark palm fell from the sky. Boom. The old ancestor who had just spoken was blasted into the ground and turned into meat pulp. The Titan troll's dark giant palm could not move Yang's Eye Ocean, but it was like slapping flies when it slapped these masters of the White Bone Demon Palace. With one palm, hundreds of masters of the White Bone Demon Palace were all shot down. No one could escape. Even the gods were slapped to death. The Titan troll dealt with the people of the White Bone Demon Palace and continued to fly forward with Yang's Eye Ocean. One day later, they finally arrived at the Titan troll's territory. The Titan troll's cave was built in the vast mountains. There were countless monsters and poisons in the mountains. The mountains were shrouded in poisonous miasma. However, when you come to the Titan troll's cave, it is a bright sight. There are several spiritual springs and waterfalls in the cave, and spiritual beasts are everywhere. There are also various spiritual trees full of flowers, just like a paradise. Bringing Yang's Eye Ocean to the cave, the Titan troll was a little embarrassed and said, "I'm alone, and cultivation is boring, so I raise many spirit beasts." Yang's Eye Ocean nodded. "I didn't expect that the Titan troll, who is called the god of 10,000 demons, also likes to raise spirit beasts." Although the Titan troll lives alone, the cave he built is still quite large, with hundreds of palaces, and the materials used are very exquisite, all of which are rare dark ores. Afterwards, Yang's Eye Ocean chose one of the palaces and began to practice in seclusion. Yang's Eye Ocean did not rush to refine the Hunio and Destiny Divine Stone and the Sand of Time, but swallowed the Destiny Divine Fruit first. Swallow the Destiny Divine Fruit, break through the 10th level of the Emperor Realm, and then slowly refine the Hunio and Destiny Divine Stone and the Sand of Time. Under the effect of the magical medicine power of the Destiny Divine Fruit, Yang's Eye Ocean's cultivation increased day by day. Originally in the middle stage of the 9th level of the Emperor Realm, he soon broke through the late stage of the 9th level of the Emperor Realm, reaching the peak of the late stage. 10th level. Middle stage of the 10th level. Late stage of the 10th level. After refining 8 destiny fruits, he barely broke through to the late 10th level of the Emperor Realm. Only half a step away from the peak of the late 10th level of the Emperor Realm. After refining 8 destiny fruits, his 9 primordial fates were also greatly tempered, and the light became stronger. Although it was still 12,960 miles, the primordial power of each primordial fate was greatly improved. When Yang's Eye Ocean came out of the palace, it was already deep winter. The cold snow was falling. In a few days, it would be the new year. Yang's Eye Ocean stretched out his hand and caught the falling snow. In the past few years, he spent the new year with his family, but this year he couldn't. At this time, there was the smell of barbecue and wine. Yang's Eye Ocean followed the smell and came out, and saw that on the mountain outside the palace, the Titan troll was setting up a bonfire, roasting beast meat and drinking wine. "Master." The Titan troll saw Yang's Eye Ocean coming out and stood up. Yang's Eye Ocean came over, sat down, motioned for him to sit down, and asked with a smile, "Do you also like drinking and barbecuing?" This hobby is the same as his own. The Titan troll nodded and said, "When cultivation is boring, I will barbecue and drink. If a person practices all his life and has no other hobbies, it will be too boring and tasteless." Yang's Eye Ocean cut a piece of meat, took a bite, and the fresh juice overflowed. He smiled and said, "Your barbecue is good, but the taste is still a little bit off." Having said that, he took out the medicinal materials he personally prepared and grilled it again. After grilling again, the aroma of the meat was even more fragrant. The two of them feasted on it. The two of them drank and chatted, and their relationship became much closer. Yang's Eye Ocean asked the Titan troll to help him find out about the waste residue of the magic medicine. "The sect leader wants the waste residue of the magic medicine?" The Titan troll was stunned. Yang's Eye Ocean nodded. "Now, he has the tree of life, the tree of death, and the tree of destiny. The 3 trees all need nutrients. If there is a large amount of waste residue of the magic medicine, The 3 trees can grow the fruit of life, the fruit of death, and the fruit of destiny. With 2 more death fruits, his awakens divine art will be able to be cultivated to the 11th level, and he will be able to refine the eternal heavenly coffin, and subdue the awakens ghost king. It's not easy to find the waste residue of the divine medicine. The Titan troll pondered, but Laozi should have some. Laozi. Yang Ocean was puzzled. It's Wuxin medicine god. The Titan troll said. His real name is Wuxin. Wuxin medicine god. Yang Ocean knew who the Titan troll was talking about. There are many powerful sword gods in Wanjian continent, and there are also more powerful medicine gods than in Kangshan continent. The most famous ones are the 4 great medicine gods. Wuxin medicine god is one of the 4 great medicine gods. He is also the oldest medicine god in Wanjian continent. Wuxin has a strange personality. The Titan troll shook his head and said, although I have known him for many years, even my face is useless with him. If outsiders want to see him, they must offer a kind of strange fire. Yang Ocean was stunned. Strange fire? The Titan troll nodded. Yes. Then he said, there are only so many strange fires in this world. How can there be so many strange fires to offer? Isn't old Z asking for trouble? Any strange fire will do. Yang Ocean asked. Yes, any strange fire will do. The Titan troll looked at Yang Ocean. Master, do you have strange fire? But, even if you meet Laozi will not give you the waste of the divine medicine. He will definitely make more excessive demands. You don't need to waste strange fire. Yang Ocean said, it's okay. After the new year, you can take me to see Wuxin. Now strange fire is useless to him. He uses divine fire to refine medicine, and he has a lot of strange fire. At that time, he destroyed the 4 super sects of the Dragon Empire, the Tatian sect, the Ancient Palace, the Fearing Sword sect, and the Maha Divine sect, and he got a lot of strange fire. Do you have any news about the Old Man of Time? Yang Ocean asked. The Old Man of Time, the disciple of the Goddess of Fate. The Titan troll was stunned, and then shook his head and said, the Old Man of Time has not appeared in the world for many years, at least 100,000 years, and no one knows his whereabouts now. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 540, Kunlun Sword Contest. 100,000 years. Yang Ocean's heart sank when he heard the Titan troll say that the Old Man of Time had not appeared for 100,000 years. From this point of view, it is almost impossible to find the Old Man of Time. This world is so vast that it is harder to find a person than to find a needle in a haystack. Then he can only wait for the Temple of Destiny to open again in 10 years, and then enter the Goddess Palace to look for the divine art of destiny. 10 years. For him, it is too long. 10 years, the opportunity is gone. The Titan troll looked at Yang Ocean, hesitant to speak. What's the matter? Tell me. Yang Ocean said when he saw this. The Tangshan divine religion destroyed the Poison Shadow sect yesterday. The Titan troll said. When Yang Ocean heard this, he was immediately furious, clenched his fists, and said in a cold voice, hundreds of thousands of disciples of the Poison Shadow sect died. The Titan troll nodded. That Lila also died miserably, was beheaded in public, and his limbs were cut off. So, the leader of the Poison Shadow sect, Lila, didn't even have a complete body in the end. Yang Ocean's anger was uncontrollable, and there was murderous intent in his eyes. Who is it? It was the Order of the Sun and Moon Saint King, but it was Liang Gang who cut off Lila's head. The Titan troll then added, Liang Gang is the master of Kanyuan. Yang Ocean's eyes turned cold, which means that Liang Gang is Zhao Rang's disciple. The Titan troll said in a deep voice, I heard that Zhao Rang has successfully cultivated the 15 sword intents. Yang Ocean's heart sank. I didn't expect Zhao Rang to cultivate the 15 sword intents so quickly. In your opinion, how strong is Zhao Rang? Yang Ocean asked. The Titan troll pondered and said, very strong. The Titan troll is the god of all demons, the demon among demons. With his strength, he is enough to look down on the 10,000 swords continent. There are not many people who can catch his eye. Even many sword gods on the sword god list are not in his eyes. But now, he has said 2 very strong in a row. It can be seen that Zaorang is strong. Then, the Titan troll said, I'm afraid Zaorang can win the first place in this Kunlun sword contest. Kunlun sword contest. Yang Xiaoshan paused for a moment. He knew about the Kunlun sword contest. Every 6,000 years, the Wanjian continent would hold a Kunlun sword contest. At that time, countless sword masters from the Wanjian continent would gather at Kunlun Mountain, and then compete in swordsmanship and rank on the sword god ranking. The Kunlun sword contest was the most grand event in the Wanjian continent, bar none. Every Kunlun sword contest, almost all the sword gods from the Wanjian continent would attend. His master, Lord Hangfeng, was the first on the sword god ranking. And 1 year later, 6,000 years would be up, and 1 year later, it would be the time for the next Kunlun sword contest. First, Yang Xiaoshan said in a deep voice. The Titan troll nodded. If Lord Hangfeng didn't show up this time, Zaorang might be able to win the first place in the Kunlun sword contest. In other words, if Zaorang won the first place in the Kunlun sword contest a year later, he would be the first on the sword god ranking, and would replace his master Lord Hangfeng. Zaorang is now the acting leader of the Tangshan divine sect. If he can win the first place on the sword god ranking, and become the first sword god, his prestige will reach an astonishing level. By then, it would be even more difficult for Yang Xiaoshan to regain control of the Tangshan divine sect. Yang Xiaoshan's eyes turned cold, so he had to go to this Kunlun sword contest no matter what. Within this year, he had to work harder and more crazily to improve his strength. Before that, he had to cultivate at least 15 mixed destiny, and cultivate the destiny divine body. Of course, it would be better if he could achieve the Holy Realm. However, if he climbed Kunlun Mountain at that time, he would definitely conflict with Zaorang. The power around him was still too weak, and a single Titan troll was far from enough. Yang Xiaoshan didn't want to drink anymore, so he returned to the palace and continued to practice. He was not in a hurry to refine the sand of time, but took out a mixed destiny divine stone, absorbed the energy in it, and constantly consolidated his sea of gods. The energy of the mixed destiny divine stone kept floating into his sea of gods, just like a golden rain from the sky, constantly sprinkling into his sea of gods. His sea of gods suddenly glowed. Just like a dryland, his sea of spirits eagerly absorbed the energy of the Hunyuan destiny stone. The more he absorbed, the brighter and more solidified his sea of spirits became. These days, after absorbing the energy of many destiny stones, his sea of spirits has become extremely stable, and now, with the tempering of the Hunyuan destiny stone, it is even more solid. Originally, his sea of spirits was earthy yellow, the same color as the earth, but now, the color is brighter, and changing towards golden yellow. The energy of the Hunyuan destiny stone is far from comparable to the destiny stone. After refining a Hunyuan destiny stone, Yang Xiaoshan only felt that his sea of spirits was clear. He took out the second Hunyuan destiny stone and continued to absorb it. When he finished refining the second Hunyuan destiny stone, it was already New Year's Eve. Yang Xiaoshan came out and drank and ate meat around the campfire with the Titan troll. The two grown men spent New Year's Eve around the campfire. The Titan troll laughed and said, I was alone in previous years, but I'm not alone this year. Yang Xiaoshan smiled. It was late at night when Yang Xiaoshan returned to the palace and continued to devour the Hunyuan destiny divine stone to practice. When Yang Xiaoshan absorbed the 7th Hunyuan destiny divine stone, his Shenhe Xiandi had completely turned golden, reflecting golden light. When he absorbed the 10th Hunyuan destiny divine stone, the Shenhe Xiandi changed to a colorful color. When he absorbed the 12th Hunyuan destiny divine stone, the Shenhe Xiandi was colorful and solid to an astonishing degree. However, Yang Xiaoshan frowned. After absorbing the 12th Hunyuan destiny divine stone, although his Shenhe Xiandi changed amazingly, it never transformed. Not to mention bearing the 15th Hunyuan destiny, even bearing the 14th Hunyuan destiny was unbearable. At most, he could only bear the 13th Hunyuan destiny. And he could barely bear it. Barely, that is, there was still danger. It seemed that he had to find a way to find the Hunio and Destiny Divine Stone again. Yang Xiaoshan was helpless. However, he was not in a hurry to trigger the 10th calamity of destiny, but first refined the sand of time and upgraded his eternal body. This time, he got 3 balls of sand of time, which was enough to upgrade his eternal body. He first took out the first ball of sand of time, practiced the technique, and began to refine it. The sand of time wrapped around Yang Xiaoshan's body, turned into dots of light, and continuously merged into Yang Xiaoshan's eternal body, transforming into the time power of the eternal body. Yang Xiaoshan sat cross-legged there, with the light of time pulsating around him. As time passed, the light of time became stronger. 10 days later, Yang Xiaoshan completely refined the 3 balls of sand of time. After refining the 3 balls of sand of time, the time power of his eternal body was about twice as strong, and it was infinitely close to the state of minor success. Only half a step away, he could break through the state of minor success. Just this half step away, Yang Xiaoshan was speechless. Chapter 541. Is this the rhythm of killing God? Yang Xiaoshan came out of the palace and found that the sky was bright and the sun was shining. However, the cave was quiet and there was no sign of the Titan troll. When Yang Xiaoshan was wondering, suddenly, a figure broke through the air and fell. It was the Titan troll. The Titan troll rushed in, covered in blood. However, it was not his blood, but someone else's blood. Master, a large number of masters from the Avasi Demon sect and the Ksitagarbha Buddha sect are rushing over. Even the Avasi Demon King and the Ksitagarbha Buddha have come. It is not safe here. Let's go first, said the Titan troll. The Avasi Demon King, the Ksitagarbha Buddha, all of them are supreme beings. Fighting alone, the Titan troll is stronger than any one person, but 2 fists cannot beat 4 hands. Have the Avasi Demon sect and the Ksitagarbha Buddha sect discovered this place? Yang Xiaoshan's face sank. The Titan troll shook his head. Not yet, but they have blocked the surrounding 100,000 mountains and are advancing their search here. Sooner or later, they will find this place. I have killed a group of them. Yang Xiaoshan nodded. It seems that he can only leave first. However, he was planning to leave to find Wuxin Medicine God. Immediately, Yang Xiaoshan took out the Abyss spaceship. True God level spaceship? The Titan troll was surprised when he saw the spaceship. Get on board. The two flew into the spaceship. However, the Titan troll immediately saw Yang Xiaoshan take out the Holy Spirit Stone and use it to drive the spaceship. The Titan troll was surprised and distressed when he saw it. My sect master actually used the Holy Spirit Stone to drive the spaceship. This is simply a waste of money. You know, the Holy Spirit Stone is hard to find. It is not easy for him to find one, but their sect master uses it to drive the spaceship. Is the Wuxin Medicine God Cave Mansion far from here? Yang Xiaoshan asked. The Titan troll came back to his senses and said, at the current speed of the sect master's spaceship, it should take another 10 days. Hearing that it would take 10 days, Yang Xiaoshan frowned, and then took out another Holy Spirit Stone, and used 2 Holy Spirit Stones to drive the spaceship at the same time. If 2 Holy Spirit Stones are driven at the same time, the speed will be faster. The Titan troll saw Yang Xiaoshan take out another Holy Spiritual Stone and used 2 Holy Spiritual Stones to drive the spaceship at the same time. He was stunned and distressed. Master, this is too wasteful, isn't it? This is more than a waste. Yang Xiaoshan didn't care and said, it's okay, there are still many Holy Spiritual Stones, and these Holy Spiritual Stones were also robbed. Robbed? The Titan troll swallowed and said, I wonder who did the master rob from? If there was, he would also like to rob. Emperor Yunshan. Yang Xiaoshan said, Emperor Yunshan. The Titan troll sweated and didn't speak again. Although he was known as the god of 10,000 demons and the devil among demons, he was still not good enough to face the god Emperor Yunshan, the first emperor in the history of overseas. You know, Emperor Yunshan is more terrifying than the immortal god of death. Driven by the 2 Holy Spiritual Stones at high speed, the Abyss spaceship turned into a high-speed stream of light and flew towards the Heartless Valley. On the way, Yang Xiaoshan was not idle either, swallowing the Emperor pill to practice. Now, it was still a little difficult for him to bear the 13th Union destiny, so he had to continue to improve his Sea of God true essence. First break through to the peak of the 10th level of the Emperor Realm. As long as he broke through to the peak of the 10th level of the Emperor Realm, his Sea of God true essence could bear 13 Union destinies. When passing by a barren mountain, Yang's Eye Ocean suddenly stopped. The Titan Troll was wondering. Yang's Eye Ocean said, I want to trigger the Union Fate Tribulation here, and bear the Union Destiny. After bearing the Union Destiny, we will continue on our way. Although it was still a little difficult to bear the 13th Union Destiny, he could already bear 12 Union Destinies. So, he planned to trigger the 10th, 11th, and 12th Union Destiny Tribulation this time. Master, do you want to trigger the 4th Union Destiny Tribulation? The Titan Troll was surprised. The Titan Troll also heard that Yang's Eye Ocean used 2 divine golden pills and 3 Union Destinies to activate the Year's Monument. He, like everyone else on the Wanjian continent, thought that Yang's Eye Ocean only had 3 Union Destinies. Yang's Eye Ocean shook his head, and then, in the Titan Troll's doubts, he urged the power of the Sea of True Essence, and began to bombard the Union boundary wall above the heaven. Soon, he completely blasted the Union boundary wall above the heaven. Above the heaven, thunder clouds instantly condensed, spread, surged, and violently. The terrifying power of the Union Tribulation thunder was increasing at a terrifying speed. Feeling the constantly condensing power of the Union Tribulation thunder, the Titan Troll's eyes were fixed. Boom. Suddenly, the first level of Union Heavenly Fate Tribulation thunder struck down. The speed and strength were unprecedented in the Titan Troll's life. Even when he was crossing the Divine Tribulation, the Divine Tribulation thunder was not so fast and so strong. The Titan Troll couldn't help but tighten his mind, worried whether Yang's Eye Ocean could survive. After all, such a terrifying Union Fate Tribulation thunder, even many people at the peak of the 10th level of the Holy Realm would find it difficult to take it. While the Titan Troll was worried, Yang's Eye Ocean suddenly rushed up, and at the same time, 2 divine golden pills flew out, and the power of the divine golden pills was activated, and his fists hit the mixed fate thunder. Boom. Explosion. The amazing airwave rolled. Yang's Eye Ocean was hit to the ground, and the terrifying impact force directly blew up the ground. The Titan Troll ignored the airwave, but looked at the 2 divine golden pills in shock. Although he knew that Yang's Eye Ocean had 2 divine golden pills, he couldn't hide his shock when he saw the 2 divine golden pills in the miracle. But, at this time, the second mixed fate thunder struck again. Yang's Eye Ocean, who was already familiar with it, soared into the sky again. He did not summon the mixed fate, but activated the power of the eternal body. Suddenly, his whole body burst out with a strong light of time. Fists blasted out. 2 divine golden pills. The time power of the eternal body flew out from his fists. Time. Eternal divine body. This is the eternal divine body of the Master of Heaven and Earth. The Titan Troll stared at the time light all over Yang's Eye Ocean's body and cried out. Boom. Yang's Eye Ocean was blasted to the ground. Then, the 3rd level of Mixed Destiny thunder struck down. Yang's Eye Ocean soared into the sky, and this time, he summoned the Mixed Destiny. One after another Mixed Destiny flew out, a total of 9 Mixed Destiny, coiling around Yang's Eye Ocean's body. The surging mixed power turned into an endless mixed ocean, and the mixed breath hit the Titan Troll's strong nerves wave after wave. 9 Mixed Destiny. The Titan Troll took a breath of cold air and was shocked. Carrying one more, wouldn't that be 10? 10 Mixed Destiny. Is this the rhythm of killing God? 1 Mixed Destiny is already stronger than 14 9-level Destiny. How much stronger must 10 Mixed Destiny be? 10 Mixed Destiny. Not to mention the peak of the 10th level of the Holy Realm. Even an ordinary god at the 1st level would probably not be able to withstand the power of the 10 primordial destinies. Chapter 542 Be my drug test boy. Killing gods. The Titan Troll shuddered at the thought. An Emperor Realm slaughtering gods. What a horrifying thing this would be. Although it was hard to believe, how could an Emperor Realm slaughter gods? But seeing Yang's Eye Ocean's Union Destiny, the Titan Troll couldn't help but have this idea. Then, the 4th, 5th, and 6th Union Destiny thunderbolts. When the 7th Union Destiny Thunderbolt struck, Yang Zai Ocean summoned the Supreme King Dark Golden Flame Dragon Martial Soul and released the Abyss Lord Soul Ring. When the Dark Golden Flame Dragon Martial Soul surged with boundless darkness, and when the Lord of the Abyss's terrifying abyss power enveloped the world, the Titan Troll was shocked and retreated again and again. Lord of the Abyss? It's the Lord of the Abyss Soul Ring. Their sect leader actually condensed the Lord of the Abyss Soul Ring. These days, although he followed Yang Zai Ocean, he still felt a little unwilling in his heart. Now, the unwillingness in his heart has completely disappeared. There is no more unwillingness. He only has, or in his heart, only worship. When the 10th level of Mixed Fate Thunderbolt struck, Yang Zai Ocean had no choice but to summon the Supreme King Zuanwu Martial Soul and release the Deep Sea Demon Kun Soul Ring. The Titan Troll looked at the Supreme King Zuanwu Soul and the Deep Sea Demon Kun Soul Ring, and for the first time, he felt like he was going to pee. In the past, he often talked about being invincible, but at this moment, he understood what true invincibility was. Finally, Yang Zai Ocean blasted away the 10th level of Mixed Fate Thunderbolt. The 10th Mixed Fate successfully condensed in his Sea of Divine World. Although the 10th level of Mixed Fate Thunderbolt was terrifying, his injuries were not serious, only minor injuries. So Yang Zai Ocean was still able to move. He took out a mouthful of the 6th level of Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water, mixed it with the 2nd level of Heavenly Tribulation Life-Saving Pill and swallowed it. When the Titan Troll saw that the life-saving pill taken out by Yang Zai Ocean actually had the breath of Heavenly Tribulation, and there were 2 tribulation lines on the surface of the pill, he was shocked. After swallowing the next mouthful of the 6th Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water and the 2nd Heavenly Tribulation Heavenly Grade Life Restoring Pill, Yang Zai Ocean's injuries recovered quickly, and he was full of energy again. So, he urged the true essence of the Sea of Gods to bombard the Hunnian realm wall above the heaven again, inducing the 11th Hunnian Fate Tribulation. When the Titan Troll saw the Hunnian Fate Thundercloud condensing again above the heaven, his mind was blank. After a while, Yang Zai Ocean successfully survived the 11th Hunnian Fate Tribulation again. The 11th Hunnian Destiny was successfully condensed. After a while, he swallowed the 6th Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water and the Life Restoring Pill, and when his injuries were completely recovered, he triggered the 12th Hunnian Destiny Tribulation again. The Titan Troll was stunned. In the end, Yang Zai Ocean successfully condensed the 12th Hunnian Destiny. When the 12th Hunnian Destiny was successfully condensed, Yang Zai Ocean stopped. Although he can now carry the 13th Hunnian Destiny, for safety reasons, he wants to upgrade to the peak of the 10th level of the Emperor Realm before carrying it. Yang Zai Ocean swallowed the Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water and the Life Restoring Pill, and his injuries recovered a lot. Then he and the Titan Troll continued their journey to the Heartless Valley. On the spaceship, the Titan Troll looked at Yang Zai Ocean with a different look, but Yang Zai Ocean was used to this look. The Azure Thunder Python, Ice Flame Kirin and others were the same. Since his injuries had not fully recovered, Yang Zai Ocean continued to swallow the Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water and the Life Restoring Pill to practice on the spaceship. Finally, the day before he arrived at the Heartless Valley, his injuries had completely recovered. Master, the Heartless Valley is ahead. The Titan Troll pointed to a certain direction ahead. Yang Zai Ocean looked ahead and saw a large valley vaguely visible among the mountains and the clouds and mist ahead. Compared with the Titan Troll's cave, the Heartless Valley was even more beautiful in the sun. Yang Zai Ocean put away the spaceship and flew to the Heartless Valley with the Titan Troll. After a while, they appeared in front of a forest. As long as you pass through the forest, you will reach the Heartless Valley. The forest is shrouded in a colorful poisonous miasma. This colorful poisonous miasma is a highly toxic 7-color poison. Without hesitation, Yang Zai Ocean and the Titan Troll walked into the forest. The 7-color poisonous mist fell on Yang Zai Ocean, but was all turned into time sand by Yang Zai Ocean's time power. The two easily passed through the forest and came to the Heartless Valley. In front of the Heartless Valley is a large flat land with green grass and fragrance. At this time, a group of masters gathered. Judging from their clothes, they should be masters of the Mu family of the Supreme God Empire. The Mu family of the Supreme God Empire is one of the oldest families in the Wanjian continent. Its status is very high, equivalent to the Fan family and the Shen family in the Wanjian continent. It seems that the masters of the Mu family are also coming to ask to see the heartless medicine god. At this time, a middle-aged man in a Taoist robe walked out of the valley. He glanced at everyone and said, "Who wants to see my master?" A master of the Mu family hurried forward and clasped his fists and said, "I'm Mu Yi, the head of the Mu family, and I want to see Senior Wuxin." Then he said, "I have brought a strange fire." After saying that, he released the strange fire, and the surroundings suddenly became bright. The head of the Mu family brought the heart-destroying flame, which ranked over 200. "I'm Yang Ocean, and I want to see Senior Wuxin." Yang Ocean also stepped forward and summoned the star flame. Suddenly, it was full of starlight, which overshadowed the heart-destroying flame of the Mu family. Star flame. Mu Yi and the masters of the Mu family were surprised that this young man actually had the star flame, which ranked in the top 100. Even the Titan trolls were stunned. They didn't expect that their master would have the star flame. The middle-aged man of Wuxin Valley also looked at Yang Ocean in surprise, and then led Yang Ocean and Mu Yi, the head of the Mu family, in. The Titan troll took out a token. After the middle-aged man of Wuxin Valley checked it, he also respectfully invited the Titan troll in. After the three entered the valley, they came to the main hall to wait. "Old Tay, what do you want to see me this time?" As soon as the three sat down, they saw a thin old man in colorful clothes coming over and glaring at the Titan troll unhappily. The man was Wuxin, the Wuxin medicine god. Mu Yi quickly stood up and bowed to Wuxin. The Titan troll glared at Wuxin and said, "Do you think I want to come to your broken valley? It's my sect master who wants to see you." "Sect master?" Wuxin looked at Yang Ocean in confusion. "I'm Yang Ocean, and I want to ask the senior for some waste residue of the magic medicine." Yang Ocean stood up and clasped his fists. "Want the waste of divine medicine?" Wuxin blew his beard, looked at Yang Ocean, and said with a smile, "I have a lot of waste of divine medicine. In this way, I won't make it difficult for you. If you can beat my disciple in refining medicine, I will give you the waste of divine medicine." He pointed at the middle-aged man who had just brought Yang Ocean and others in. "But if you lose, you have to stay and be my drug test boy for the rest of your life," Wuxin said with a smile. Many pharmacists who have developed new elixirs will find someone to swallow them to test the efficacy. This is the drug test boy. Because drug test boys often swallow various elixirs and even poisons, they often die miserably. The Titan troll's face sank. Chapter 543 What is a genius in alchemy? What kind of status does the leader of the Huangquan demon sect have? Wuxin actually dared to let their leader be a drug test boy. When the Titan troll heard this, he immediately became murderous and violent, and his terrifying power swept across the world. Mu Yi and all the Mu family masters outside Wuxin Valley were shocked. Mu Yi looked at the Titan troll in even more fear. As the head of the Mu family, his strength was unquestionable, but at this moment he felt suffocated. Who is this strong man? And who is this boy? Yang Ocean looked at Wuxin and said, "If your disciple loses, give me all the waste residue of the divine medicine on you." Wuxin ignored the Titan troll's murderous intent and smiled when he heard it. "Yes, all the waste residue of the divine medicine." At this point, he took out a jade bottle and opened it. It was full of waste residue of divine medicine, 2 people high. If so many waste residues of divine medicine are swallowed by the death god tree, I'm afraid that 4 or even 5 death god fruits can grow. Wuxin's smile is creepy. Yang Ocean's face was calm, and he smiled. "Okay." Then he looked at Wuxin's disciple. "How do we compete?" When the Titan troll heard Yang Ocean's agreement, he couldn't help but get anxious. "Master, no." Wuxin was one of the 4 great medicine gods of Wanjian continent. His direct disciple had an extremely high level of medicine refining. Not to mention Yang Ocean, even many 8-star alchemists in Wanjian continent could not beat Wuxin's disciple. "It's okay." Yang Ocean shook his hand. Seeing Yang Ocean's agreement, Wuxin smiled even more. "Okay. Let's do this. I won't make it difficult for you. How to compete is up to you." "No need." Yang Ocean shook his head and said, "In case your disciple loses, you will feel unfair. You decide." Everyone was stunned. Wuxin smiled and said, "Okay, then let's refine the Shengdan." Whoever finds the Shengdan with the highest quality and the shortest time will win. Shengdan is a holy level medicine. When the Titan trolls heard that Zwuxen actually wanted their sect leader to refine a saint level elixir, they could not help but get angry. Their sect leader was only at the Emperor realm. How could he possibly refine a saint level elixir? Isn't Zwuxen shameless? The dignified Wuxen medicine god is so shameless. Even Mu Yi, the head of the Mu family, felt that Zwuxen's request for the competition was too much. Zwuxen claimed that he would not embarrass Yang Xiaoshan, but wasn't this obviously embarrassing Yang Xiaoshan? Zwuxen's disciple Eluo Crossing looked at Yang Xiaoshan coldly. Okay. To the surprise of Zwuxen and the others, Yang Xiaoshan agreed without even thinking about it. Although he was surprised, Zwuxen laughed. Okay, let's get started. He didn't believe that the young man in front of him could really refine a saint level elixir. The Bu Shengdan was not an ordinary saint level elixir, but the most difficult saint level elixir to refine. Seeing Yang Xiaoshan agreed to compete, the Titan troll couldn't help but get anxious. Just as he was about to speak, Yang Xiaoshan shook his hand and told the Titan troll not to say anything. Yang Xiaoshan and Eluo Crossing came to the flat ground outside the hall. Mu Yi, the head of the Mu family, also looked at Yang Xiaoshan in surprise. He wanted to know where this young man got the confidence to agree to refine the Shengdan. Eluo Crossing glanced at Yang Xiaoshan, took out hundreds of medicinal materials for refining Shengdan, and then took out a wooden tripod. Heavenly Wood Divine Tripod. Seeing Eluo Crossing's wooden tripod, Mu Yi was surprised. The Heavenly Wood Divine Tripod is one of the famous divine tripods in the Wanjian continent. It is made of heavenly wood. Heavenly wood contains extremely strong wood spirit power. Using the Heavenly Wood Divine Tripod to refine pills can improve the quality of pills. If you don't have any medicinal materials, I can give you some. Eluo Crossing said. No need. Yang Xiaoshan said calmly, and then took out hundreds of medicinal materials for refining Shengdan. He emptied the entire treasure house of Mingmen. Not to mention the hundreds of medicinal materials for the holy pill. He had all the medicinal materials for all the holy level pills. Then, Yang Xiaoshan took out the Jade Dragon Heavenly Cauldron. Suddenly, the green light was bright and the dragon spirit was everywhere. Jinlang Heavenly Cauldron. Several people at the scene exclaimed. Jade Dragon Heavenly Cauldron is one of the 4 great divine cauldrons of Kangshan. Although Xianmu Divine Cauldron is also a divine cauldron, it is far inferior to the Jade Dragon Heavenly Cauldron. When Zwuxen saw that Yang Xiaoshan took out the Jade Dragon Heavenly Cauldron, his eyes glowed green and were extremely hot. For a master pharmacist obsessed with alchemy, the Jade Dragon Heavenly Cauldron is undoubtedly the treasure he has always dreamed of. Originally, Yang Xiaoshan planned not to use the cauldron furnace to refine medicine, but after thinking about it, he gave up the idea and used the Jade Dragon Heavenly Cauldron. Looking at Yang Xiaoshan's Jade Dragon Heavenly Cauldron, Eluo Crossing came back to his senses. Suddenly, he urged his soul power. Almost instantly, the space shook, and countless fires of heaven and earth rushed in from all directions. Feeling Eluo Crossing's amazing soul power, the Titan Troll and Mu Yi were both shocked. This, 100 miles? Mu Yi was surprised. Eluo Crossing's soul power could actually control the fire of heaven and earth within a radius of 100 miles. A saint realm can control the fire of heaven and earth within a radius of 100 miles. Such soul power is invincible. Mu Yi is the head of the Mu family and a master of alchemy, but it was the first time he saw a saint realm with such amazing soul power. Zwuxen saw that his disciple's soul power had improved again, and nodded with approval. Then, Eluo Crossing's body was filled with light, and a strange fire appeared around him. Cold Dream Ice Flame. The 63rd ranked strange fire. Then, another strange fire appeared around Eluo Crossing's body, the Bright Moon Flame. Ranked 51st. Mu Yi was even more shocked to see that Eluo Crossing actually controlled 2 of the top 100 strange fires. Strange fires are extremely difficult to control. It is extremely difficult to control one of the top 100 strange fires, let alone 2. After summoning the 2 kinds of strange fire, Eluo Crossing waved his hands, and the surging fire of heaven and earth rushed to the hundreds of medicinal herbs on the ground, wrapping them one by one. At the same time, he controlled the Cold Dream Ice Flame and the Bright Moon Flame. to melt the medicinal herbs. Seeing this, Mu Yi exclaimed, "A stunning genius. Senior Wuxin has accepted an incredible alchemy genius." Zi Wuxin smiled widely. The Titan troll frowned when he saw this. Although he expected that Zi Wuxin's disciple would have a very high talent and level in alchemy, he was still surprised that the other party could control two kinds of top 100 strange fires to refine medicine at the same time. He looked at Yang Ocean, only to see that Yang Ocean was still standing there, not taking action, nor releasing the power of the soul. Seeing this, the already worried Titan troll became even more anxious. At this time, Luo Crossing waved his hands repeatedly, leaving a series of after images in the air. Phantom Demon Hand. Phantom Demon Hand is one of the top 10 alchemy techniques in the Wanjian continent, and the 9th most advanced alchemy technique. Under Luo Crossing's magic hands, hundreds of medicinal materials quickly melted one by one, then merged and finally formed into pills. It was done in one go. When the pill was formed, the fragrance of the pill filled the air. It was the best grade Busheng pill. Seeing this, Zi Wuxin was completely relaxed and said to Yang Ocean with a smile, "Little guy, you lost." Yang Ocean looked at Zi Wuxin's confident smile and smiled indifferently. "Do you really think your disciple won? It took almost 2 hours and 2 kinds of strange fire to refine the best grade Busheng pill. This talent for refining medicine can only be said to be average." Hearing this, several people were stunned. Luo Crossing laughed angrily. "My talent for refining medicine is average? Okay, then please show us what a genius in refining medicine is." Chapter 544. Such a terrifying soul power. Zi Wuxin was also angry when he heard this. It was extremely rare to successfully refine a top grade Shengdan in one day. His disciple took less than 2 hours to refine a top grade Shengdan, which was rare. His disciple was so talented, but Yang Ocean said it was average. Just when Zi Wuxin was about to speak, Yang Ocean suddenly released his soul power. Boom. The sky and the earth seemed to have thunderous thunder. The airflow in the space was howling. The whole Wuxin Valley was full of flying sand and rocks. Yang Ocean's soul power directly covered 100 miles. This was the maximum range covered by Zi Wuxin's disciple Luo Crossing's soul power just now. What? Seeing that Yang Ocean's soul power directly covered 100 miles, not only Mu Yi, the Titan troll, but even Zi Wuxin was shocked and unbelievable. Luo Crossing was a saint, and his soul power covered 100 miles, which was already invincible. But Yang Ocean, an emperor, actually had such soul power. Just when Mu Yi, Zi Wuxin, and Luo Crossing were shocked, suddenly, Yang Ocean's soul power rose again. The coverage area instantly rushed to 110 miles. 110 miles. Several people were stunned. But then, Yang Ocean's soul power surged again. It directly rose to 130 miles. 130 miles. Mu Yi took a breath of cold air. Zi Wuxin looked incredible. You know, the later the soul power is, the harder it is to improve. Although Luo Crossing's soul power can cover 100 miles now, it takes decades or even longer to practice to increase it to 110 miles. But Yang Ocean is a teenager, but his soul power can reach 130 miles. But this is not over yet. Yang Ocean's soul power is still skyrocketing. 150, 170, 200. When Yang Ocean's soul power reached 200 miles, a hurricane was violent over Wuxin Valley, and wild sand exploded into the air. Under the control of Yang Ocean's terrifying soul power, the sky and the earth changed color. Outside Wuxin Valley, hundreds of masters of the Mu family were also shocked. Such a terrifying soul power. Who is it? Is it Wuxin medicine god refining the elixir? An old ancestor of the Mu family was shocked. It must be Wuxin medicine god. Only Wuxin medicine god has such a terrifying soul power. Mu King, the saint of the Mu family, said excitedly and admiringly. In the valley, Mu Yi and Luo Crossing were all looking at Yang Ocean in shock. As far as the two knew, many powerful medicine gods only had soul power of 200 miles. But the young man in the emperor realm in front of them had soul power that was not weaker than that of ordinary medicine gods. This kind of soul power, not to mention that Mu Yi had never seen it, he had never even heard of it. Zi Wuxin and the Titan troll were also stunned. especially Wuxin, as one of the 4 great medicine gods of the Wanjian continent, and the oldest medicine god. What kind of alchemy genius has he not seen? But he has never seen an emperor realm with soul power comparable to that of a medicine god. In fact, what they didn't know was that this was only a part of Yang Zai Ocean's soul power. Over the years, Yang Zai Ocean has been swallowing soul pills made from the blood of the Lord of the Abyss and the deep sea demon Kun. His soul power has increased day by day. When he was in the martial emperor realm, his soul power had already reached dozens of miles. Now, he has broken through the emperor realm, and his soul power is more than several times stronger. Then, Yang Zai Ocean summoned the strange fire. He was seen flashing with blue flames all over his body, and a huge blue lotus flame appeared under his feet. Blue lotus fire. Mu Yi was surprised. Blue lotus fire, the 10th strange fire. Then, an amazing phoenix cry sounded. 9 golden phoenix flames were seen entwined around Yang Zai Ocean, and the flames soared into the sky, and the Heartless Valley was bright. 9 phoenix golden flames. 9 phoenix golden flames, the 9th strange fire. Mu Yi was shocked. Luo Crossing's control of 2 of the top 100 strange fires just now was already shocking, but the boy in front of him could actually control 2 of the top 10 strange fires. This is the top 10 strange fires. Luo Crossing, Wuxin, and the Titan Troll were also surprised. Luo Crossing was especially surprised. He thought that he was the only one in the world who could control 2 of the top 100 strange fires at the same time. He didn't expect that a young man in the Emperor realm could control 2 of the top 10 strange fires. Although his 2 strange fires were also very powerful, they were just garbage in front of the Blue Lotus fire and the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame. Is this the alchemy genius he mentioned? Luo Crossing's face was ugly and his fists were clenched. However, at this moment, suddenly, the light on Yang Zai Ocean's body rose again, and the 3rd strange fire flew out, and the 3rd strange fire was so strong that it completely covered the light of the Blue Lotus fire and the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame. Flame of burning heaven. Mu Yi, Luo Crossing and others said in a lost voice. Flame of burning heaven, the 7th strange fire. Luo Crossing stared at Yang Zai Ocean intently. This boy actually controlled 3 kinds of strange fires, and they were 3 of the top 10 strange fires. Just as Luo Crossing was staring at Yang Zai Ocean's 3 strange fires, suddenly, the earth shook, and it seemed that something terrifying was pouring out from the ground. Wuxin and the others were all shocked to see countless earthy yellow flames coming out of the ground. These flames surged from all the ground in Wuxin Valley, and gathered around Yang Zai Ocean's body. Earth flame. The first strange fire. Several people gasped. It turned out to be the first strange fire. 4 of the top 10 strange fires, not 3. What kind of monster is this? He can actually control 4 of the top 10 strange fires. Controlling 4 ordinary strange fires is already shocking to the world, let alone controlling 4 of the top 10 strange fires. How did this boy subdue these 4 of the top 10 strange fires? At this time, Yang Zai Ocean waved his hands, and countless fires of heaven and earth surged over the sky, and came to the sky above hundreds of medicinal materials. These fires of heaven and earth formed a mysterious formation diagram. Medicine array. The second of the 10 major methods of refining medicine. The medicine array glowed, a suction force was generated, and hundreds of medicinal materials all flew up. When hundreds of medicinal materials all flew up, Yang Zai Ocean waved his hands, and the flame of the earth, the flame of the burning sky, the golden flame of the 9 phoenixes, and the fire of the Blue Lotus broke through the air and flew up, turning into sparks, and flying towards hundreds of medicinal materials at the same time. Then, under the control of Yang Zai Ocean, the 4 strange fires shuttled back and forth among the hundreds of medicinal materials like butterflies. What kind of method is this? Mu Yi and the others were dazzled. Yang Zai Ocean stood there, and his whole body had merged with the cauldron, the medicinal materials, the strange fire, and the fire of heaven and earth. Harmony between man and nature. Wuxin took a deep breath and said slowly, the unity of man and nature, this is something that only the powerful medicine gods can comprehend. However, now it has appeared on Yang Zai Ocean. Soon, hundreds of medicinal materials were all melted, without any burnt, and then fell into the Bilungshanding to fuse. Under the continuous burning of the 4 strange fires and the fire of heaven and earth, Soon, the Billungshianding was filled with the fragrance of elixir, and its fragrance even overflowed from the Wuxin Valley. When the people of the Mu family outside the valley heard it, they were all greatly encouraged. This is a top-grade holy elixir. Only a top-grade holy elixir can have such an amazing elixir fragrance, an ancestor of the Mu family said excitedly. In a quarter of an hour, the top-grade holy elixir was ready. Chapter 545, Contest with Z Wuxin. Mu Wanking, the saintess of the Mu family, was very excited. In a quarter of an hour, he refined a top-grade holy pill. He is worthy of being senior Wuxin medicine god. Senior Wuxin medicine god's medicine refining level has reached the realm of shocking the world. I have never heard of refining a top-grade holy pill in a quarter of an hour. An old ancestor of the Mu family was also excited and said, "Today I finally saw it." Other masters of the Mu family also excitedly echoed. At this time, there was silence in the valley. Yang Xiaoshan looked at Luo crossing. "You lost. You lost." Just now, medicine god Z Wuxin said that he lost. But now, Yang Xiaoshan returned it to his disciple intact. Luo crossing, who was originally shocked, came back to his senses and looked ugly. Lost? He lost. He was the only direct disciple of medicine god Z Wuxin. Even his master praised his talent. He has always been proud of his talent. He has always thought that he would be the first genius of medicine refining in the younger generation of Wanjian continent. But today, he was defeated miserably. And he was defeated by a teenager. Looking at the four strange fires around Yang Xiaoshan, he suddenly felt a sense of despair. Yang Xiaoshan looked at Wuxin medicine god Z Wuxin. Wuxin medicine god Z Wuxin saw Yang Xiaoshan looking at him, and knew what Yang Xiaoshan meant. He took a deep breath, and threw the jade bottle filled with waste residue of divine medicine in his hand to Yang Xiaoshan. He forced a smile. "I really didn't expect that you could actually refine a holy level elixir." With the cultivation of the Emperor realm, he refined a holy level elixir, and it was a top-grade holy level elixir. This is definitely an eternal miracle. Looking at Wuxin's forced smile, Yang Xiaoshan said, "This is also the first time I refine a holy level elixir. My technique is still a little rusty." Z Wuxin proofed, first time refining. The first time he refined the holy elixir, he refined a top-grade one in a quarter of an hour. If he refined it a few more times and his technique was not rusty, wouldn't it not even take a quarter of an hour? Z Wuxin and the others were also stunned. "Senior, are you interested in a competition?" Suddenly, Yang Xiaoshan spoke to Z Wuxin. Everyone was stunned. Comparing with the medicine god Z Wuxin in refining medicine, Mu Yi's first feeling was that it was absurd. An emperor realm actually wanted to compete with the medicine god Z Wuxin in refining medicine. Not only Mu Yi had such an idea, but other people also looked strange. Z Wuxin's smiling expression appeared again. He looked at Yang Xiaoshan. "Young friend, do you want to compete with me in refining medicine?" Although Yang Xiaoshan had refined the top-grade Bushengdan, he still didn't qualify to compete with him in refining medicine. "Why, don't you dare." Yang Xiaoshan's face was normal. He didn't make a temporary decision, but had thought about it on the way. Z Wuxin heard Yang Xiaoshan's provocation, laughed, and smiled. "How do you want to compete? What if you lose?" "If I lose, this Billungshianding will belong to you." Yang Xiaoshan pointed to Billungshianding. Z Wuxin's eyes lit up when he heard it. "If you lose," Yang Xiaoshan said slowly, "you need to serve me for 10 years. Didn't Z Wuxin want him to be a trial boy? Then he wants Z Wuxin to be his thug. Now, although he has the Titan Troll by his side, his strength is still too weak. As the oldest medicine god, Z Wuxin not only has a very high level of medicine refining, but also has extremely strong strength, not weaker than the Titan Troll. The key is that Z Wuxin has a very high prestige in the pharmacist world of Wanjian continent. If Z Wuxin can work for him, it will be much easier for him to act in Wanjian continent." When Z Wuxin heard that Yang Xiaoshan actually wanted him to work for him, he narrowed his eyes, a ray of cold light flashed, and he smiled and said, "My friend, you are quite courageous. I just don't know if you are brave enough to compete with me." Yang Xiaoshan's face was normal. Z Wuxin laughed. "Okay. How do we compete?" Yang Xiaoshan pondered and said, "Let's compete in refining the holy pill. Whoever refines the holy pill with higher quality will win." What do you think, senior? Hearing Yang Xiaoshan say that he still wants to compete in refining the holy pill, Zi Wuxin smiled and said, okay. However, if you lose, I will not only take the Jade Dragon Heavenly Cauldron, but I will also ask you to be my drug test boy. He still refused to let go of Yang Xiaoshan. Hearing this, Yang Xiaoshan smiled and said, okay. Zi Wuxin and Yang Xiaoshan immediately returned to the flat ground in the center of Wuxin Valley. Zi Wuxin took out a divine cauldron. This divine cauldron was all black and exuded a cold aura. The Otherworldly divine cauldron. Mu Yi was surprised when he saw Zi Wuxin's black cauldron. The Otherworldly divine cauldron is a treasure of the ancient Otherworldly divine clan. Although it is not as good as the Jade Dragon Heavenly Cauldron, it is not much different. Afterwards, Zi Wuxin took out hundreds of medicinal materials for refining the Shengdan. All of the hundreds of medicinal materials he took out were of extremely high quality. Obviously, Zi Wuxin had put a lot of thought into it. Then, under the gaze of everyone, Zi Wuxin released his soul power. Boom. The space seemed to be hammered hard. The terrifying airflow swept through, like a superstorm. It directly covered an area of 400 miles. This is Zi Wuxin's super strong soul power. The soul of an ordinary medicine god can only cover an area of 200 miles, while Zi Wuxin's can cover an area of 400 miles. Whether it was Mu Yi or the Titan Troll, seeing that Zi Wuxin's soul power covered an area of 400 miles, their faces changed. Soul power covering an area of 400 miles. What does this mean? Mu Yi and the Titan Troll knew it very well. Yang Xiaoshan was not too surprised. After all, Zi Wuxin was one of the 4 medicine gods of the Wanjian continent, and it was normal for his soul power to cover 400 miles. Then, Zi Wuxin's whole body was shining with divine light, and a ball of divine fire flew out of his body. When this ball of divine fire appeared, Yang Xiaoshan's 4 strange fires were like candles in the wind, ready to go out at any time. Dead fire of extinction. Seeing Zi Wuxin's divine fire, Mu Yi and the Titan Troll were shocked. Even the Titan Troll didn't expect that Zi Wuxin could control the divine fire. Although he had known Zi Wuxin for many years, it was the first time he saw Zi Wuxin use the divine fire. Oh, dead fire of extinction. Yang Xiaoshan looked at Zi Wuxin's dead fire of extinction with interest. Dead fire of extinction, although it is a divine fire, ranks almost at the bottom of the divine fire, and its power is much weaker than his thunder tribulation divine fire. He could see that Zi Wuxin's dead fire of extinction should be acquired. There are divine bodies that are born from the beginning, and there are also divine bodies that are cultivated from the beginning. The same is true for divine fire. Some are born from the beginning, and some are cultivated from the beginning. Generally speaking, the acquired divine fire is easy to control and subdue, but its power is weaker than that of the innate one. Under Zi Wuxin's control, the fire of heaven and earth roared over, sweeping up the medicinal materials on the ground one by one. He waved his hands repeatedly, using one of the 10 great alchemy techniques, the sun and moon shine together. Under the control of the silenced divine fire, the Otherworldly divine cauldron, and Zi Wuxin's amazing soul power, it didn't take long for the fragrance of the elixir to become stronger and stronger. Then, thunder clouds surged in the sky. Heavenly tribulation thunder. Mu Yi looked at the thunder clouds in the sky and said excitedly, the triggering of the heavenly tribulation thunder means that Zi Wuxin will refine a heavenly elixir. A heavenly elixir higher than the best. Chapter 546. Zi Wuxin is convinced. Looking at the heavenly tribulation thunder, the Titan Troll was also amazed. Heavenly grade elixirs are very rare. Even heavenly grade emperor grade elixirs are rare, let alone heavenly grade saint grade elixirs. A heavenly grade saint replenishing elixir is absolutely priceless. Boom. At this time, the heavenly tribulation thunder fell at an astonishing speed. It hit the Otherworldly divine cauldron. It wanted to destroy the elixir in the cauldron. Looking at the heavenly tribulation thunder that was coming down, Zi Wuxin punched out and directly blasted the thunder away. The thunder of the heavenly grade god grade elixir is very strong, but the thunder of the heavenly grade saint grade elixir is much weaker. For Zi Wuxin, it was easily blasted away with one punch. When the thunder was blasted away, the light in the cauldron spread out in circles. The fragrance of the elixir was as surging as the sea, making people intoxicated. Mu Yi took a sip and felt refreshed, and his internal organs seemed to have been cleansed. Wuxin looked at the saint replenishing elixir in the cauldron and smiled. Congratulations, master, for refining a heaven-grade replenishing saint pill. Luo Crossing was also overjoyed and stepped forward to congratulate. Wuxin nodded and laughed, then turned to Yang Ocean and said, "My dear friend, I'm sorry, I have refined a heaven-grade replenishing saint pill. It seems that I have won this competition." Although Yang Ocean has the 4 top 10 strange fires, even if he has the 4 top 10 strange fires, it is impossible to refine a heaven-grade pill. Looking at Wuxin's smile, Yang Ocean smiled and said, "That may not be the case." Wuxin heard this and smiled and said, "My dear friend, you are not going to say that you can also refine a heaven-grade replenishing saint pill, right?" In any case, he did not believe that Yang Ocean, an emperor, could refine a heaven-grade replenishing saint pill. Yang Ocean did not speak and released his soul power to the fullest. The space roared. The sky and the earth changed color. 300 miles. Wuxin, Mu Yi and others were shocked. They did not expect that Yang Ocean's real soul power was 300 miles. In the Emperor realm, the soul power covers 300 miles. When Yang Ocean breaks through the divine realm, how strong will the soul power be? 800 miles? Or 900 miles? Even more? Several people dared not imagine it. Legend has it that the limit of the soul power in the divine realm is 1000 miles, but that is an ancient legend. In the past million years, it has never been heard that the soul power of a divine realm strongman can reach 1000 miles. However, what makes Wuxin feel a little relieved is that although Yang Ocean's soul power is amazing, it is still far behind him, and Yang Ocean only has strange fire, and it is impossible for him to refine a heavenly elixir. So the winner of this competition will be him. Just as Wuxin thought so, suddenly, thunder surged around Yang Ocean. Thunder and lightning flashed in the sky above Wuxin Valley, and countless thunder and lightning condensed into flame dragons in the blink of an eye. A ball of thunder flame flew out of Yang Ocean's body. When this ball of thunder flame flew out, the desolate divine fire was panicked. What is this? Mu Yi, the Titan Troll, and Luo Crossing stared at the thunder flame with their eyes wide open. Thunder tribulation divine fire. Impossible. Wuxin exclaimed as he looked at the thunder tribulation divine fire. He had gone through countless hardships, spent countless efforts and countless years to finally subdue the extinction divine fire. But how could Yang Ocean, who was in the Emperor realm, subdue the divine fire? And it was a thunder tribulation divine fire that was much stronger than the extinction divine fire. Yang Ocean, however, looked calm as usual and summoned the 1000 Buddha divine fire and the purple star divine fire. Suddenly, the Buddha's light was radiant, and Wuxin Valley seemed to have become the kingdom of Buddha. The 7 stars of the purple star divine fire bloomed with numerous stars, and the brilliance of the stars made Wuxin Valley seem to fall into the starry sky of Buddha. 3 great divine fires. The Titan Troll. Wuxin's eyes were dull. Luo Crossing and Mu Yi even fell to the ground. Yang Ocean, however, looked calm as usual and began to control the fire of heaven and earth to melt the medicinal materials. Under the control of his soul power, the 3 divine fires turned into rivers of fire, entwining hundreds of medicinal herbs and flowing endlessly. Each time it flows, 1 medicinal herb must be melted. Soon, all the hundreds of medicinal herbs melted, and they melted at the same time. Just when everyone thought that Yang Ocean would use the Bilangsha ending to catch the melted medicinal liquid, they saw Yang Ocean waving his hands, and the fire of heaven and earth actually condensed into a fire cauldron. All the medicinal liquid fell into the fire cauldron condensed by the fire of heaven and earth. The 3 divine fires entangled the fire cauldron, like waves, and immersed in the cauldron one after another. Inside the cauldron, the brilliance became stronger and stronger. The fragrance of the elixir filled all corners of the valley. In the surprise of everyone, thunder clouds rolled over the valley, and the world was completely dark. Heavenly tribulation thunder. Mu Yi took a deep breath. The appearance of the heavenly tribulation thunder meant that the Shengdan refined by this young man was at least of the heavenly grade. And judging from the power brewing in the thunder clouds, it should be the 2nd heavenly tribulation thunder. Wuxin obviously thought of this as well, and his hands trembled. If it was really the second heavenly tribulation thunder, then wouldn't he be thinking of this? There was no smile on his face. Boom. As if confirming everyone's thoughts, the first heavenly tribulation thunder fell. After the first heavenly tribulation thunder fell, the second heavenly tribulation thunder followed closely. Looking at the falling heavenly tribulation thunder, Yang Ziroshan did not need Ding Yi to take action. He activated the eternal divine body and the true essence of 1296 acupoints. He punched out with both fists, and endless time rushed into the sky. Boom. The second heavenly tribulation thunder was directly blasted through, and exploded by the fist force. Eternal divine body. It's the eternal divine body. The eternal divine body of the master of heaven and earth. Whether it was Mu Yi, Zhi Wuxin, or Luo Crossing and his apprentice, they all screamed in horror. Between heaven and earth, only the master of heaven and earth can cultivate into the eternal divine body, and now, the eternal divine body appears in front of them. Even Zhi Wuxin, one of the four great medicine gods, can hardly hide his shock. At this moment, Zhi Wuxin's eyes looking at Yang Ziroshan finally changed again. It became completely different. It was a look of fear. Zhi Wuxin was like this, not to mention Mu Yi and Luo Crossing. He looked at Yang Ziroshan with excitement, awe, admiration, and fanaticism. Finally, the pill was made. Yang Ziroshan stretched out his hand, and the pill fell into his palm. Two clear lines flowed on the surface of the pill. Second tribulation heaven grade pill. You lost. Yang Ziroshan looked at Zhi Wuxin. Zhi Wuxin came back to his senses. He looked at the second tribulation heaven grade pill, and his heart was both surprised and complicated. An emperor realm refined a second tribulation heaven grade pill, and did not use a cauldron to refine it. Such an absurd and impossible thing, but he saw it with his own eyes today. Everyone's eyes fell on Zhi Wuxin. Zhi Wuxin hesitated for a moment, walked in front of Yang Ziroshan, bowed, clasped his fists and said, Zhi Wuxin greets the master. If it was before, he would definitely be unwilling, but now that he saw Yang Ziroshan's eternal divine body, Zhi Wuxin no longer had any resentment. You can just call me young master from now on. Yang Ziroshan nodded and smiled after hearing this. After all, Zhi Wuxin was not from Huanquan demon sect. Yes, young master. Zhi Wuxin replied. I heard from Senior Tay that you have a ball of sand of time in your hand. Yang Ziroshan suddenly asked. As long as he had another ball of sand of time, his eternal divine body would be able to be completed. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 547. Who is that boy? Sand of Time. Zhi Wuxin was surprised to hear Yang Ziroshan suddenly ask about the sand of time, and then smiled bitterly and said, Sir, I have some sand of time in my hand, but not much, only a small handful. At this point, he took out a golden bag. When he opened the golden bag, a small handful of sand of time flew out. Just as Zhi Wuxin said, it was only a small handful, the size of a thumb. This little sand of time was far from enough for Yang Ziroshan to break through the eternal divine body. At this moment, Mu Yi suddenly came forward, came to Yang Ziroshan, bowed and clasped his fists and said, Sir, our Mu family treasury also has some sands of time. Yang Ziroshan was delighted to hear this. If the head of the Mu family is willing to give up, I'm willing to exchange something. I wonder what the head of the Mu family needs? Mu Yi shook his hands repeatedly and said with a smile, It's just a little sand of time. It's not a valuable thing. You don't have to care about it. At this point, he hesitated and said, It's just that our Mu family treasury doesn't have much sand of time, twice as much as this. He pointed to the small handful of sand of time in front of him. Yang Ziroshan was speechless. If this is the case, it is still far from enough for his eternal divine body to improve. I know that the Supreme Emperor's chamber has a lot of sand of time. Mu Yi pondered and said, Our Mu family and the Fang family have a good relationship. If you need it, I will go to see the Supreme Emperor and see if I can get some from them. The Supreme Emperor's chamber has it? Yang Ziroshan was delighted and clasped his fists and said, Thank you, Master Mu. Mu Yi shook his hand and smiled. It is an honor for my Mu family to be able to help you, young master. Obviously, after Yang Xiaoshan showed his eternal divine body and subdued Zi Wuxin, Mu Yi began to make friends with Yang Xiaoshan wholeheartedly. Mu Yi said again, then I will go back to the Supreme Empire and have someone send the Sand of Time to you. Then I will visit the Supreme Emperor to see if the Emperor is willing to give it up. Yang Xiaoshan thought for a while and said, the journey is long. If you ask someone to send the Sand of Time, it will be too troublesome. How about this? Since I have nothing to do, I also want to go to the Supreme Empire. Let's go together. He read the notes of his master, Lord Hangfeng. His master, Lord Hangfeng, had stayed in the Supreme Empire for a long time and left something in the Supreme Empire. As for what it was, he didn't say. He wanted to go and look for it. Moreover, the Supreme Empire was the first empire in the Wanjian continent, and he also wanted to go to the Supreme Empire to take a look. Mu Yi was delighted to hear that Yang Xiaoshan wanted to go to the Supreme Empire with him. He clasped his fists and said, great. It would be the best if you go to the Supreme Empire with us. Yang Xiaoshan looked at Mu Yi and said, Master Mu, do you know who I am? Mu Yi was startled. I won't hide it from you. In fact, the Tangshan divine religion is offering a reward to me recently. Yang Xiaoshan said. Mu Yi was surprised. At this time, Yang Xiaoshan activated the Yellow Spring divine art. Suddenly, the Yellow Spring key roared out, and the Wuxin Valley turned into the Yellow Spring Hell. Yellow Spring divine art. Mu Yi was surprised. You are the descendant of the Yellow Spring Patriarch. Mu Yi also heard about the descendant of the Yellow Spring Patriarch who had been making a lot of noise recently. No one knew the name of the descendant of the Yellow Spring Patriarch, nor did anyone know his origin. They only knew that he was the descendant of the Yellow Spring Patriarch. He seemed to have appeared out of thin air, and then the Temple of Destiny showed a terrifying talent. 2 great divine golden elixirs, 3 great mixed primordial destinies. He even reached the top of the Destiny Divine Mountain. Some people also say that this person is the son of destiny. After being surprised, Mu Yi bowed and said, so you are the son of destiny. At this point, he said respectfully, don't worry, my son. Others are afraid of the Tangshan divine religion, but my Mu family will not try to please the Tangshan divine religion. The Mu family is one of the oldest and most powerful families in the Wanjian continent. Even if it is weaker than the Tangshan divine religion, it is not much weaker. The ancestor of the Mu family is one of the 10 great sword gods in the Wanjian continent. This is where Mu Yi's confidence lies. Okay. Yang Xiaoshan nodded and smiled when he heard this, and said, in that case, let's set off later. Anyway, he can practice on the way, so there is no need to stay in Wuxin Valley. Mu Yi came here this time to ask Zi Wuxin for medicine. With the relationship with Yang Xiaoshan, Zi Wuxin of course gave the elixir to Mu Yi readily. So, after Mu Yi successfully asked for medicine, everyone set off and headed for the Supreme Empire. Zi Wuxin asked his disciple Luo Crossing to stay in Wuxin Valley, and he followed Yang Xiaoshan out of Wuxin Valley. After walking out of Wuxin Valley, he looked at the sunshine outside, feeling emotional. He had been in Wuxin Valley for tens of thousands of years without realizing it. Mu Wanking, the saint of the Mu family who was guarding outside the valley, saw Mu Yi coming out and came up with the Mu family. Father, how is it? Mu Wanking asked nervously. Mu Yi nodded and said with a smile, I have obtained the Xianyang pill. Mu Wanking and the Mu family were overjoyed. Let's go back to the imperial capital. Mu Yi said with a smile, then turned to Yang Xiaoshan, the Titan Troll, and Zi Wuxin and said respectfully, Sir, to seniors, do you want to take our Mu family spaceship? Then take the Mu family spaceship. Yang Xiaoshan said with a smile. Mu Yi quickly took out the spaceship, and then asked Yang Xiaoshan and the other 2 to get on board first, and then he and the Mu family got on board. The masters of the Mu family were all surprised and suspicious when they saw that their patriarch was so respectful to Yang Xiaoshan and the other 2. Yang Xiaoshan and the Titan Troll, they had all met before. Like them, they were here to seek an audience with the Lord Wuxin Medicine God. Who were these young men and strong men that made their family heads treat them with such respect? In addition, who was this colorfully dressed old man? as Wuxin had not left Wuxin Valley for tens of thousands of years. Mu Wanking and the people of the Mu family did not know him. Although Wuxin was one of the 4 great medicine gods in Wanjian continent, very few people in Wanjian continent had seen him now. Not to mention Mu Wanking, even many super sect masters had rarely seen Wuxin. That night, Yang Xiaoshan refined the sand of time in the palace, arranged by Mu Yi. Although Wuxin did not have much sand of time, it could be improved a little. As for the pile of waste dregs of the divine medicine, he gave half to the death god tree and the other half to the destiny god tree. While Yang Xiaoshan was refining the sand of time, Mu Wanking came to Mu Yi's palace and asked, "Father, we saw the 2nd level heavenly tribulation thunder outside the valley today. Could it be that senior Wuxin medicine god refined the 2nd level heavenly tribulation elixir?" She had wanted to ask this question a long time ago. Also, we felt the power of the divine fire, and there was more than one kind. Could it be that senior Wuxin medicine god controlled multiple divine fires? Mu Wanking asked excitedly. Mu Yi also knew his daughter's doubts, but he shook his head and said, "You'd better not ask these things. Also, don't tell the outside world about what you saw outside Wuxin Valley today," he emphasized. "Do you understand?" Seeing her father's serious expression, Mu Wanking finally nodded and asked, "Who is the boy with us?" Her father is the head of the Mu family, and she has never seen her father be so respectful to a boy. Chapter 548 Resurrection of the Yellow Spring Ghost King. Hearing his daughter asking about Yang Xiaoshan, Mu Yi still shook his head and said, "Just know that young Master Yang is our Mu family's distinguished guest. Don't ask more about other things." Then he said, "In addition, if you have any questions about refining medicine, you can ask young Master Yang more." Mu Wanking is a pharmacist in the pharmacist hall of Wanjian continent. At a young age, she is already a 7-star pharmacist. Among the younger generation, it is difficult for anyone to match her in refining medicine. Her master is the deputy hall master of the pharmacist hall. So, when she heard her father asking her to ask Yang Xiaoshan, a teenager, about refining medicine, she couldn't help but frown. Seeing his daughter's expression, Mu Yi knew that she was dissatisfied in her heart and sighed secretly. Before today, he also thought that his daughter was a young generation. It was difficult for anyone to match him in refining medicine. But today's trip to Wuxin Valley, he realized how ridiculous this idea was before. He couldn't help but think of the scene today when Yang Xiaoshan controlled the 3 divine fires, did not use the cauldron, and then refined the 2nd level heaven grade replenishing holy pill. Thinking of this, he could not help but take out the 2nd tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pill. This 2nd tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pill was exactly the one that Yang Xiaoshan had refined today. It was given to him by Yang Xiaoshan as a thank you gift. 2nd tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pill. Mu Wanking was shocked to see the replenishing holy pill in Mu Yi's hand, and said excitedly, "A 1st tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pill was already rare, let alone a 2nd tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pill. I'm afraid that many imperial families of the empire don't have a 2nd tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pill in their collection. Father, could this 2nd tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pill be the one that senior Wuxin Yaoshan refined today?" Mu Wanking said excitedly. Seeing his daughter's excited expression, Mu Yi did not answer, but carefully examined the pill in his hand and sighed. There are always better pills out there. He had examined this pill many times today, and every time he examined it, he could not help but feel surprised and amazed. As a super family in the Wanjian continent, the Mu family has countless pills in their treasure house, but none of them can compare to the one in front of him. Mu Wanking said excitedly and admiringly, "Senior Wuxin medicine god is worthy of being one of the 4 great medicine gods of our Wanjian continent. He actually refined a 2nd tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pill." Mu Yi opened his mouth, wanting to say something but stopping himself, and finally did not explain. After all, it was too shocking to tell others. If a 17 or 18-year-old boy refined a 2nd tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pill, it would probably cause a superstorm in the pharmacist world of Wanjian continent if it was spread out. Time passed. 2 days later, Yang Xiaoshan had already refined Wuxin sand of time. The eternal divine body was improved a little bit. He checked the death god tree and saw that, after swallowing a large amount of divine medicine waste, the death god tree finally grew 2 death god fruits again. And the destiny god tree also grew 2 destiny god fruits. Although he expected that the death god tree and the destiny god tree would each grow 2 god fruits, Yang Xiaoshan still couldn't suppress his joy when he saw the god fruits in front of him. With these 2 death god fruits and 2 destiny god fruits, he could practice the Yellow Spring Divine Art to the 11th level. Not only that, his realm will surely break through to the peak of the 10th level of the Emperor realm. Immediately, Yang Xiaoshan took a death god fruit and swallowed it, and practiced the Yellow Spring Divine Art. With the help of the death god fruit, the Yellow Spring Key increased day by day. When he refined both death god fruits, as expected, his Yellow Spring Divine Art broke through to the 11th level as expected. And his cultivation also successfully broke through to the peak of the 10th level of the Emperor realm. Seeing that the Yellow Spring Divine Art successfully broke through the 11th level, Yang Xiaoshan couldn't wait to take out the Eternal Heaven Coffin again. The pitch black Eternal Heaven Coffin exuded an eternal cold air. The group of extremely evil power was still circulating in the Eternal Heaven Coffin. Yang Xiaoshan placed his palm on the Eternal Heaven Coffin and practiced the 11th level of the Yellow Spring Divine Art. The Yellow Spring Key of the 11th level of the Yellow Spring Divine Art was several times stronger than that of the 10th level. Suddenly, the Yellow Spring Key rolled and surged into the Eternal Heaven Coffin with a roar. That group of extremely evil power, like last time, tried to resist the Yellow Spring Key. But this time, under the attack of the Yellow Spring Key, that group of extremely evil power was refined bit by Yang Xiaoshan's Yellow Spring Key. Seeing this, Yang Xiaoshan felt relieved. This time, there is finally hope to refine the Eternal Heaven Coffin. At the current speed, the Eternal Heaven Coffin can be refined in 3 days at most. As the refining continued, Yang Xiaoshan finally had a sense of connection with the Eternal Heaven Coffin. After 3 days, when he completely refined the Eternal Heaven Coffin, he felt that he and the Eternal Heaven Coffin were connected by heart and blood. Seeing that the Eternal Heaven Coffin had been refined, Yang Xiaoshan took a deep breath, slowly opened the lid of the Eternal Heaven Coffin, and looked inside, only to see a tall old man lying inside. The old man was lifelike, but he had no breath at all. However, Yang Xiaoshan still sensed that the old man's heart was still beating very weakly. This old man was undoubtedly the Yellow Spring Ghost King, one of the 2 most powerful masters of the Yellow Spring Demon sect back then. Although the immortal death god is also an ancient god, he is a junior of the Yellow Spring Ghost King in terms of seniority. Yang Xiaoshan frowned. He didn't expect that the Yellow Spring Ghost King was so seriously injured. After so many years, he could only rely on the Eternal Heaven Coffin to stabilize his dying body. Although the Yellow Spring Ghost King was not dead, there was almost no vitality in his body. In addition, there was an astonishing sword energy remaining in his body, trying to destroy the last trace of vitality in his body. This sword energy should be left by the person who seriously injured the Yellow Spring Ghost King that year. Yang Xiaoshan thought about it, took out a mouthful of 6-layer Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water, and gave it to the Yellow Spring Ghost King to swallow. The Yellow Spring Ghost King's whole body was flashing with lightning, and the vitality in his body gradually became a little stronger. However, it was only a little stronger. Yang Xiaoshan gave the Yellow Spring Ghost King another mouthful. The 6-fold Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water is indeed a healing treasure. As long as there is a breath left, it can be saved. After Yang Xiaoshan gave Huanquan Ghost King 10 mouthfuls of the 6-fold Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water, Huanquan Ghost King's vitality has become much stronger. Previously, Huanquan Ghost King only had a trace of vitality left in his body, but now, his vitality has condensed into a rope. However, this is still not enough. Yang Xiaoshan gave Huanquan Ghost King another 20 mouthfuls of the 6-fold Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water. Finally, Huanquan Ghost King's body emitted a faint light, and a force was constantly emerging from his body. Obviously, Huanquan Ghost King was operating Huanquan Demon Sect's skills, but it was still very slow. Seeing this, Yang Xiaoshan gave Huanquan Ghost King another 20 mouthfuls of the 6-fold Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water. Suddenly, Huanquan Ghost King's operation of Huanquan Demon Sect's skills became faster. The power in his body is constantly growing and growing, and he is trying to expel the sword power that remains in his body. Yang Xiaoshan thought about it and gave Huangquan Ghost King 10 drops of 9 heaven tribulation thunder water. Instantly, Huangquan Ghost King's whole body glowed stronger. The sword power in his body was constantly expelled. A day later, Huangquan Ghost King finally opened his eyes. His eyes, as if from hell, looked at Yang Xiaoshan. Chapter 549 5-star Pharmacist. When the Yellow Spring Ghost King stared at Yang Xiaoshan felt as if he was being stared at by the god of death. A creepy feeling spread all over his body. Even his soul felt frozen. Yang Xiaoshan's whole body was tense. However, when the Yellow Spring Ghost King's eyes fell on the yellow spring ring on Yang Xiaoshan's finger, the eyes that looked like the god of death softened immediately. He slowly stood up, jumped out of the eternal heaven coffin, and then bowed respectfully to Yang Xiaoshan and said, "Meet the master. Thank you for saving me." Although he was the Yellow Spring Ghost King, he had to be respectful when he saw Yang Xiaoshan, the master of the Yellow Spring Demon Sect. "You are polite, it's my duty." Yang Xiaoshan smiled and said, "How do you feel, senior?" The Yellow Spring Ghost King said, "I have completely suppressed the sword energy, but it will take another month to completely expel it." Hearing that the Yellow Spring Ghost King said that it would take another month, Yang Xiaoshan thought about it and gave the Yellow Spring Ghost King 10 second level heaven grade life saving pills. Second tribulation heaven grade life restoring pill. The Yellow Spring Ghost King was stunned when he saw the life restoring pill in Yang Xiaoshan's hand. Even in ancient times, second tribulation heaven grade life restoring pills were rare. You use these 10 second tribulation heaven grade life restoring pills first, and I will give you second tribulation heaven grade life restoring pills in a few days. Yang Xiaoshan said. Second tribulation heaven grade life restoring pills. The Yellow Spring Ghost King was stunned. The life restoring pill is an imperial level healing pill, while the life restoring pill is a saint level healing pill. Of course, he knew how precious the second tribulation heaven grade life restoring pill was. If he had a second tribulation heaven grade life restoring pill, he would be able to expel the remaining sword energy in just 2 days, not to mention a month. However, what he didn't understand was why their sect leader had a second tribulation heaven grade life restoring pill in a few days. Could it be that there would be a second tribulation heaven grade life restoring pill auctioned in a few days? Sect leader, we are almost in the imperial capital. At this time, the voice of the Titan troll outside sounded. Well, I know. Yang Xiaoshan responded, put away the eternal heaven coffin, and then walked out with the Yellow Spring Ghost King. When the door opened, the Titan troll was surprised to see Yang Xiaoshan and a pale skinny old man who looked like he was seriously ill walking out. Obviously, he didn't expect that there would be a sick and skinny old man next to Yang Xiaoshan. The Yellow Spring Ghost King looked up at the Titan troll. Just one glance made the Titan troll as terrified as Yang Xiaoshan just now. Titan bloodline. The Yellow Spring Ghost King said coldly, "Are you the descendant of Tai Yangming?" The Titan troll was shocked, because Tai Yangming was his grandfather, one of the 4 strongest demons under the seat of the Yellow Spring Patriarch. "Yes, senior, it is my grandfather." The Titan troll's throat was dry, and he hurriedly said, "I wonder who you are. You will know later." The Yellow Spring Ghost King's voice was still very cold, as if he was born like this, and his voice was always cold. Mu Yi and Zi Wuxin were also very surprised to see that there was a sick and skinny old man next to Yang Xiaoshan. When the Yellow Spring Ghost King targeted the two, they felt like the Titan trolls being targeted by the death god of hell. Both Mu Yi and Zi Wuxin were horrified. "Young master, who is this?" Zi Wuxin couldn't help asking, but when he looked at the Yellow Spring Ghost King, his eyes were much more cautious. Zi Wuxin was one of the 4 great medicine gods in the Wanjian continent. Usually, there were many ancestors of super sects who asked for medicine. He looked at these ancestors with a disdainful look, but now, he didn't dare to look at the Yellow Spring Ghost King. Hearing Zi Wuxin's question, the Yellow Spring Ghost King said, "Boy, do you want to know who I am?" Boy. It was the first time that Zi Wuxin was called that. But, to his surprise, he didn't feel any discomfort. He quickly smiled and said, "Senior, don't get me wrong, I'm just curious." The Yellow Spring Ghost King didn't speak again. That cold face made Zi Wuxin a little embarrassed. Yang Xiaoshan stood at the bow of the spaceship, looking ahead, and saw a towering giant city standing in front of him. The giant city stretched between heaven and earth, with hundreds of millions of palaces, pedestrians in the city like ants, and countless sects and family spaceships like locusts, constantly gathering towards the giant city. This is the capital of the Supreme Empire. The capital of the Supreme Empire is worthy of being the first city in the Wanjian continent, Yang Xiaoshan said. The Ghost King Huangquan looked at the capital of the Supreme Empire in front of him, and fell into ancient memories. In the past, he also came to the capital of the Supreme Empire. It was a memory in time that he would never forget. Zhi Wuxin looked at the capital of the Supreme Empire, and was also quite emotional. He had not set foot in this ancient giant city for tens of thousands of years. He suddenly said to Mu Yi, I heard that the medicine hall in charge of Xiaodizi has developed well in recent years. Xiaodizi is Chenninged, the master of the Imperial Medicine Hall. Hearing this, Mu Yi smiled and said, Palace Master Chen has been in charge of the Medicine Palace for tens of thousands of years, and many geniuses have emerged, including many geniuses in alchemy. Zhi Wuxin nodded, feeling quite emotional. When he left the Supreme Imperial capital, Chen Ningde was not yet the chief of the Imperial Medicine Palace. The Mu family's spaceship arrived in front of the Imperial capital. Seeing that it was the Mu family's spaceship, other spaceships avoided it from a distance. Yang Xiaoshan and the Mu family rode their beasts into the city. Mu Wanqing rode her beast to Yang Xiaoshan and said, Is this the first time for young Master Yang to come to the Supreme Imperial capital? Although her father asked her to consult this young man on alchemy, she was dissatisfied and unconvinced, but she always felt that this young man was mysterious, and the few people who followed him seemed to be very strong, which made her curious about his identity. Yang Xiaoshan hummed, first time here. Then, the two chatted with each other. Mu Wanqing suddenly asked tentatively, I wonder how many stars you are as a pharmacist now? Yang Xiaoshan glanced at Mu Wanqing and smiled. I passed the examination for a 5-star pharmacist a few years ago. Since the last time he passed the examination for a 2, 3, 4 and 5-star pharmacist in the Foyan Empire, he has not passed the examination for a pharmacist again, so he is still a 5-star pharmacist now. However, if he has time, he would like to take the examination for a pharmacist again in a few days, and pass the examination for a 6, 7 or even 8-star pharmacist at one time. When Mu Wanqing heard that Yang Xiaoshan was only a 5-star pharmacist, her eyebrows furrowed. Didn't her father say that this young man's medicine refining skills were very high? Only 5 stars? When they arrived at the Mu mansion, everyone in the Mu mansion came to greet them. Mu Yi arranged the best palace for Yang Xiaoshan and the others to live in, and then went to the Mu family treasury in person, to take all the sands of time in the treasury, and give them to Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Xiaoshan thanked Mu Yi and immediately took the time to refine the sands of time in the palace. That night, in the deepest space of the Mu family, the ancestor of the Mu family, Mulin, was holding the second tribulation heaven grade replenishing saint pill. The more he looked at it, the more surprised and amazed he was. It was also the first time for him to see such a perfect second tribulation heaven grade saint grade pill. After a long time, Mulin was willing to look away, and nodded to Mu Yi, and said with a smile, You did a good job. Mu Yi hesitated and said, Just the Tangshan divine sect? Mulin sneered, It's just Zhao Rang. How do we do things in the Mu family? We don't need to look at his face. Then he said, These few days, please make arrangements to see if young Master Yang has time. I want to meet him. Chapter 552 days, 20 pieces. Mu Yi heard that the ancestor wanted to see Yang Xiaoshan, and he responded respectfully. After a while, he left. The next day, Mu Yi came to visit the Supreme Emperor Fangzong early. Fangzong learned that Mu Yi wanted the sand of time in the treasury, and he looked embarrassed and said, Brother Mu, you don't know that the sand of time in the treasury has been promised to Chen Zhang, the chief master of the medicine hall. Chen Zhang said that he will exchange it with me for 20 Xianping Bushengdan in a few days. Mu Yi frowned when he heard this. Although he didn't know whether it was true or not, Fangzong obviously wanted to shirk it. However, before coming, he also expected that Fangzong would not easily give up the sand of time. After all, everyone knew the treasure of the sand of time. However, he didn't expect Fangzong to open his mouth and ask for 20 Xianping Bushengdan. 20 Xianpin Bushengdan is a bit too much. After all, Xianpin Bushengdan is not so easy to refine. Even Zi Wuxin, who controls the Nirvana divine fire, dare not guarantee that he can succeed every time. Is it a 1 tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pill? Mu Yi asked tentatively. Fang Zhang laughed. Of course it is a 1 tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pill. Could there be 22 tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pills? It is no exaggeration to say that, even if you search the entire Wanjian continent now, you may not be able to find 22 tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pills. Mu Yi pondered and said, if I can come up with 21 tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pills, I wonder if the emperor can give them up. Fang Zhang was stunned. Now even the main hall of the medicine hall can't come up with 21 tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pills. How can the Mu family come up with them? Considering the friendship between the two families, Fang Zhang smiled and said, okay, if Brother Mu can give me 21 tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pills within 3 days, I will give the sand of time and the treasure house to Brother Mu. In other words, Mu Yi only has 3 days. If the Mu family cannot get 21 tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pills within 3 days, then he can only give the sand of time and the treasure house to Chen, the chief hall master of the medicine hall. In fact, he and Chen Ningde, the chief hall master of the medicine hall, had an agreement to exchange, but he also told Chen Ningde that, if someone took out 21st level heaven grade replenishing holy pills before that, he would give the sand of time to the other person. Okay, in that case, thank you very much, Your Majesty. Mu Yi clasped his fists and said. The two exchanged some pleasantries, and Mu Yi said goodbye and left. Fang Zhang looked at Mu Yi's leaving figure, a little confused, not understanding why Mu Yi wanted so many sands of time. And from Mu Yi's appearance, it seemed that he urgently needed these sands of time. After Mu Yi left the Imperial Palace, he came to the palace where Yang Xiaoshan lived. At this time, Yang Xiaoshan had just refined the sand of time of the Mu family. You want 21st level heaven grade replenishing holy pills. Yang Xiaoshan was surprised. Mu Yi lowered his head, a little embarrassed, feeling a little guilty towards Yang Xiaoshan. I didn't expect Fang Zhang to ask for 21st tribulation heaven grade replenishing saint pills. Young Master Yang, how about we think of other ways? Yang Xiaoshan shook his hand and said with a smile, it's okay, it's just 21st tribulation heaven grade replenishing saint pills. Let's do this. In 2 days, I will give you 21st tribulation heaven grade replenishing saint pills, and then you can give them to Fang Zhang. Mu Yi looked at Yang Xiaoshan in surprise. He understood what Yang Xiaoshan meant. Within 2 days, he had to refine 21st tribulation heaven grade replenishing saint pills, and then let him give them to Fang Zhang. 2 days, 21st tribulation heaven grade replenishing saint pills. How is this possible? Young Master Yang, isn't this too difficult? Mu Yi said with a chuckle. Yang Xiaoshan shook his head and smiled. It's okay, it's not a second tribulation heaven grade, it's just a first tribulation heaven grade. In fact, even if it was a second tribulation heaven grade, he could still refine it within 2 days. It's just that refining 22 tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pills within 2 days is a bit tiring. After all, controlling the 3 great divine fires, to refine medicine at the same time, consumes a lot of soul power. If he refines a 1 tribulation heaven grade, he only needs to control 2 great divine fires. If he controls 2 great divine fires to refine medicine, the consumption of soul power is much less. Mu Yi couldn't help but feel a little dry in the mouth when he heard Yang Xiaoshan say that it was okay. When he came out of Yang Xiaoshan's palace, his feet were floating. 2 days, 21 tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pills. Mu Yi's heart was in turmoil. The main hall of the medicine hall has accumulated for many years, but it is temporarily unable to produce 21 tribulation heaven grade replenishing holy pills. If Yang Xiaoshan can refine 20 within 2 days, it will be a world-shaking event. Father, what's wrong with you? In the distance, Mu Wanking saw that Mu Yi looked wrong and couldn't help asking. Mu Yi suppressed the turmoil in his heart, shook his head, said it was okay, and then asked, where is your elder brother? Eldest brother has been busy decorating the yard these 2 days. He plans to hold a small sword discussion meeting in 2 days and invite the 7th princess, the sane son of the Zhen family, sister Yutang and others to come to discuss swordsmanship. Yuan King said. There are many people practicing swordsmanship in the Wanjian continent. Many families and sect disciples often hold some sword discussion gatherings to discuss swordsmanship and compete in swordsmanship. Mu Yi nodded and then said solemnly, tell your elder brother that it is okay to hold a sword discussion gathering, but don't disturb young Master Yang and others when the time comes. Seeing her father's serious expression, Yuan King nodded. After Mu Yi left, Yang Xiaoshan and Ziwuxin said something, then left the Mu family alone, came to the barren mountains far outside the imperial capital, and began to refine the holy pill. With the experience of refining Shengdan and Wuxin Valley, Yang Xiaoshan was much more skilled this time. In addition, it was only a first level heaven grade, so Yang Xiaoshan refined 20 Shengdan in just half a day. However, he was not in a hurry to go back, but refined a few more second level heaven grade Shengdan. Then he continued to refine a batch of second level heaven grade life pills. It was not until 2 days later that he returned to the Mu family. When he handed the 21st level heaven grade Shengdan to Mu Yi looked at the Shengdan in his hand in shock. He could see that the Shengdan in his hand was definitely just made in the past 2 days. This, Mr. Yang, this is too fast. Mu Yi was a little incoherent. Yang Xiaoshan shook his head and smiled. It's already considered slow. I also refined a few second level heaven grade Shengdan. At this point, he took out 3 second level heaven grade Shengdan and gave them to Mu Yi. This is a little gift to the Mu family. Mu Yi was really dumbfounded. In 2 days, he refined 21st Tribulation Heaven Grade Replenishing Saint Pills, and also refined 3 Second Tribulation Heaven Grade Replenishing Saint Pills. How can other medicine gods survive? In fact, what he didn't know was that Yang Xiaoshan also refined 10 Second Tribulation Heaven Grade Life Pills. Young Master Yang, this is too valuable. Mu Yi was shocked and looked at the 3 Second Tribulation Heaven Grade Replenishing Saint Pills in his hand with great excitement. A few days ago, you already gave me one. Yang Xiaoshan shook his hand and smiled. It's just a piece of cake. I have something else to trouble you with. Mu Yi said excitedly. Young Master Yang, please tell me, but if you have any orders, Mu Yi will do it. Yang Xiaoshan smiled and said, it's not an important matter. I want you to help me find out the news of other divine fires. Mu Yi was stunned and then excitedly promised. Okay, Mu Yi will use the power of the Mu family to help young Master Yang find out. Anyway, the Mu family can't subdue the divine fire. If they can help Yang Xiaoshan find out and help Yang Xiaoshan subdue it, it will be another great achievement. Afterwards, Mu Yi came to see the Supreme Emperor Fang Zan with 20 freshly made First Tribulation Heavenly Grade Saint Replenishing Pills. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.